in podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that growler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
It is January 18th, 2019, episode 162 of the Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken. We are here live, back in studio after 2 weeks of being absent. And we weren't here last week. We were absent for 1 week, so it's been 2 weeks. Whatever, I don't care. Anyways, hi, Matt. How are you?
What's going on, Ken? I'm already confused. my clock is off. Today feels like a Sunday.
Today feels like a Sunday.
Today feels like or a Monday.
I mean, you got like some nice church clothes on.
I do have nice church clothes on. Thank you very much for noticing.
Ready to go pray to the rosary?
No, thank you. No, but you've got a nice little church beanie going.
Thank you. I got my Better on Draft little poof ball hat.
Poof ball hat, indeed.
I've been enjoying it. I rolled really well in bowling on Monday because I just wanted to wear the hat, and I did while I was bowling. And
do you think the bowling or the hat increased your bowling game?
I think it made me a little more comfortable.
Okay.
Because I'm not drinking, so I don't have that like ability to be loose.
No G&Ts?
No G&Ts. I'm not in the mood to try to get like a mixed cocktail at a bar.
What about glasses of wine?
I could go with glasses of wine. Again, at a bowling alley, the wine choices are very limited.
Just have them bring out the bag.
Some Francia, please.
So yeah, that's
get the Arbor Mist.
I bowled well. Apparently, there's a rule in that league too that you're not supposed to be wearing hats. It is this very old men's Lutheran league that I'm bowling in.
Okay, were your
I am
pants
neither
long
old
enough?
or Lutheran.
Were you wearing blended linens? Was that allowed? Did they look past you eating shellfish in your diet? Were they okay that your beard wasn't completely down to your kneecaps?
I didn't follow up with any other questions. Okay. They didn't care about the hat.
Were they mad that you arrived in a motor coach?
When somebody complained, or one of my teammates who's the captain knows all the rules, he's like, they might tell you to take off your hat. And I'm like, well, look, this person, and I look, and 0 people have hats on in this league.
Were you invited to a barn raising afterwards?
They're not Amish or even Mennonites.
Like no hats? I mean, what is... Do they think you're having like another bowler on your hat or under your hat that's bowling for you? Like a bowling ratatouille who's giving the...
What are you drinking,
I don't know. I've got the usual DVs, and then I've got the hip hops, the American IPA Detroit hip hops from the Lotus Company of Black.
So I want to give you a little heads up because I actually did a show which is going to be on our stream. It's going to be on our feed. There we go. That's the right word. That I did with the Brews Brothers, episode 6 of the Brews Brothers. We actually interviewed Brandon from Tuul, and I was talking to a lot of people. And
no, not that Tool.
Not Tuul.
No. Maynard was nowhere to be seen in that.
And when we did the interview, a lot of people I was talking to, because I was at Il Mary's, had heard about Better on Draft. And what did they all want to tell me? Matt and his Diet Verners.
Yeah. Do I have to wait to hear what they all said about the Diet Verners?
No. I had a lot of interesting feedback, including the fact that we used to get trashed on our shows when we first started, which is very true.
Yes. We have grown up.
We have grown up a little bit. It's very interesting. So you got your Diet Verners, and you got what else?
I've got the Detroit hip hops from Black
Detroit
Lotus.
hip hops. Okay.
Freshly canned. The hops have barely fallen off yet.
And they might have just put the hops in.
They could have. Nick could have teabagged the hops on his way over just to make sure it was hoppy enough.
Yep. The freshest.
The freshest.
Rob, what's going on?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
I love that shirt.
Yeah. Craft rules everything, man. That's the way it is.
I know. I feel like if I wanted to buy that shirt, it'd be like if I bought FUBU. And not that I'm saying I've never owned FUBU before.
Ken. You had one of those baby blue and dark blue 05 jerseys?
No, this was like a black and gold type like shirt. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just a shirt that said FUBU. Back when the kids were wearing the Jinko jeans.
No, we never did.
Yeah,
I didn't. Sorry.
I think that might.
You
have
never wore
passed.
Jankos?
I did. Now we're doing.
I think he might have been a couple of years before. What are you drinking over there, Rob?
Right now, I am drinking the Detroit Hip Hops from Black Lotus. I was getting ready to crack open the bourbon barrel-aged The Beast That God Forgot to Invent barley wine, courtesy of Axel Brewing.
I think that might be one of the most badass names ever.
What was the name of that again?
Yeah, can you please say that name again?
It is called The Beast That God Forgot to Invent.
The Beast That God Forgot to Invent.
So did Adam invent him?
Nick. No, yeah, no.
Possibly.
It's a Jim Harrison reference, I believe.
Okay.
He's like some author. Dan's writing a memoir or a book or a biography.
Of Jim Harrison?
Jim Harrison?
Oh, I thought you said Jim Henson for a second. I'm like...
Not Kermit Sandler.
So I've got from North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan, just south of 8 Mile on North Center Road, a can of Ultraviolet. Thanks to Kevin over there.
Nice job, Kevin.
Saw him for the second or third time in a week on Tuesday and brought me a nice little can, so I appreciate it. It's, our guest is actually drinking it.
Yeah, I just finished it. It was good.
From Black Lotus, Nick the Brewer. How are you?
Thanks, guys. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I have a question. It took a while to get through the introductions. Does the introduction man have everybody's name on lineup, or is there another Nick that usually podcasts?
There is another Nick.
There's little Nicky. Yeah.
Because I felt special.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I felt like you guys did that pre for me, and you know, I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that and that he just, Anyway.
Well, we do have another Nick. He's off on his honeymoon still.
Yep.
So he will be
Congratulations,
back
Nick.
next week when we're in studio in Detroit.
Where'd he go?
He is in the Atlantic
Cuban
Ocean.
cruise.
Yeah.
Went on a cruise.
Yeah, went on a cruise.
I used to work on a cruise ship.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think we've completely lost Kevin pressure.
There is a story about this.
What did you do on a cruise ship?
I don't know what didn't you do. What did you do that was illegal?
What was your job on a cruise ship?
What was my
Let's start
job?
with that.
I was under contract for Holland America Cruise Line. Probably it was 10 years ago, 10 or 11. Going up and down the West Coast, Alaska, out to Hawaii, as a musician in the band, the house band, playing Afro-Cuban percussion.
Afro-Cuban percussion.
Yeah, hand drums and timbales and all sorts of noisemakers.
Do you have a specialty in the Afro-Cuban percussion?
Congas.
What's
Conga
it?
player. Conga drums. Not the little ones that are bongos.
Not the Matthew McConaughey ones?
No.
Okay.
Not a lot of people use bongo as a blanket term for hand drums. Bongos are the ones you can put between your knees.
Okay.
And you go rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Got it.
Pop. Congas are the big ones that you have to play on the ground. That you can also go rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Are those the ones that stand up about 3 feet? Or
Yeah.
okay.
You play them. Imagine me sitting in this chair because you can see me.
Yes, I can't imagine you. And you're on camera. by
You
the
are
way,
on
just-
camera.
Just so you know.
Hey, look at that. That's
You're
nice.
playing them here if you're sitting.
So
right?
yeah, right here. You just but I had stands on the ship. It was actually awesome because the ship hired me, and it was a contracting company that provided all the entertainment. So they had dancers that had shows, and we had to back them.
Mm-hmm.
And I did an audition in Chicago, got the job
to be a dancer.
to be a percussionist.
Oh,
Well, the thing was that they booked all of the cruise ships. So they had this big ass company that had a ton of musicians and, rotating cast of dancers. And when I got to the ship, they had no instruments for me. So, it could cost $1,500 for equipment, for a basic rig, for drums and all these other stuff. It's not like a guitar, and it's not like you can just bring it with you. I showed up and I was like, "Hey guys, what do you want me to do?" And they're like, "What do you mean? Where are your instruments?" I was like, "What do you mean? Where are my instruments?" The drummer didn't have to bring his drum kit, did he? And the first cruise was to Hawaii and back, so it was a 20-day cruze, and I didn't do anything. People thought I was like the resident good time guy because I was just partying. They were like, "Man, and I became good friends with a lot of different people from a lot of different countries. It was a beautiful experience. I was on the ship for 6 months straight, but yeah, they were like, "Hey, man, you just got like real drunk and we're partying, and then you fell asleep on the sky deck the second day at sea." And so I was like, "Oh man, I looked like a clown. Like I had to look like just this crazy ass clown." And
Was this pre-beard or was this current beard?
Oh, bro, I used to have really big dreadlocks.
Oh,
Like
Nice.
I'm Lebanese, and so they were huge. I looked like a lion. I had probably a crazy mustache, but yeah, they were like, we thought you were the resident Rasta good vibes guy that they just hired for the Hawaii.
See,
cruise.
now that's a
Lobster.
10-year challenge on Facebook that I want to see. I want to see that.
Oh
thing.
man, you guys didn't see you don't follow me on Instagram, bro? I put one
I
up.
do.
Nick
I
the
do.
Brewer. You should.
I gotta bring that up.
You need to get that because I'm serious. I look great. 10 years later, it's real. Plus, I also read something. Not to get conspiracy theory. I don't podcast a lot, but I don't want to be known as conspiracy theory, Nick.
We bring you on
Yes,
for
all
that
right.
reason.
But I read something. Somebody was like, "Yeah, man, why y'all stupid people doing that? It's face recognition technology. You're just helping out Big Brother."
But all those photos are already on internet.
Yeah, oh, I know.
It's not like you're finding.
It
new
was
photos.
a simple argument, but I was like, huh, well, they'll know me. People hear me coming from down the block.
I might smell you coming.
Yeah. That's hey, progression, baby. We the people. We made it happen.
So, is it 10 days to Hawaii and then 10 days back, or is it?
It was 5 days out. It was actually, I guess, like a 15-day, 16-day cruise because we left from Vancouver the first time and San Diego the second time. Or no, Seattle. It was the first cruise and the last cruise of a 6-month journey. I went to first Hawaii and back, then we did Alaska.
So Seattle to Hawaii.
Seattle to Hawaii was 5 days at sea.
Okay.
And so you're 5 days in the ocean. We played music at night too, so that was an intense thing. Then you did 5 days at the islands, and you went to Honolulu, you did an overnight, you went to Kauai, or not Kauai, you went to Kona. We just 5 days, boom, boom, every day you're off in the islands, and then back 5 days at sea all the way back.
Wow.
Gnarly.
Yeah. And then I did for about 4 months, we went to Alaska, and we just did 6-day from Vancouver, British Columbia. We would go to to Juneau, Alaska. We would go then to Glacier Bay, Skagway, which was the northern jump-off point for the gold rush. So it was this tiny little mining town. And then Ketchikan, which was where all the Dungeness crab comes from, and salmon, Fun fact for people listening, Ketchikan, Alaska, because of the rainfall, is considered a moderate rainforest.
Oh.
Did you ever jump off any of the cruise ships?
Oh, man, no, hell no. You would
stay out of the recent news.
I was also told, too, one day when I was like, what if pirates come up here? What do we do for, what's the protocol?
Don't they have those giant squirt guns?
Water cannons.
Yeah.
But it's not that reassuring.
Wait, time out. That's it. Like, if for a cruise ship they have water cannons.
Yeah.
They divert
Yeah.
the water from the engines into a cannon and just blow. I mean, because pirates, if they're coming, are coming on little ships. And so they're like, yeah, we just...
Little schooners.
We just... I'm like, I guess that's terrifying. Because you're in the ocean and you're just becoming bombarded with ocean. Like, you can't escape it. And then...
It's a car wash times 1,000.
There was not really very many high seas hijinks.
Yeah, like off the coast of Alaska, you would have.
Oh, no. Too cold. The water is too cold. It was fun, though, because I got to see the entire season. When we started, the snow was just melting. You know, the snow there was maybe, 4 inches, 5 inches on the ground. No, excuse me. There was a ton more than that. I'm sorry. And then it all melted throughout the summer. And I got to see, you'd go to these places every week. It's a different kind of life where, people say cabin fever, which is a real thing. It was crazy to be
I
like,
saw the movie with Ryder Strong.
well, you're just like, hey, what day is it? Oh, it's pizza day, so it must be Tuesday. That's how I know my life now. Like, my life is just,
It sounds like a Bon Jovi song.
I'm going to go play Blue Moon tonight. But in that 5-month period, I watched all the snow melt, and then life in Alaska just go crazy. And you'd come back, and plants and grass would be literally a foot taller in a week, 2 feet taller, because it's so short. And when they get the air and the sun, they just go for it. And then by the time we left, it was starting to snow again.
Oh, well. Nice.
Gnarly. No, I'm kidding.
I've learned a lot today in regards to. Have you ever been on a cruise, Matt?
No. Well, I was on a cruise ship once. I don't know if I really like the whole idea of life at sea.
What about you, Rob?
Nah, you won't catch me on a boat.
Yeah, come on, that's that.
They got us once. You ain't falling for that shit again, son.
Oh my God. Oh my
face.
god!
Didn't you,
Your
ever, you
eyelids,
never heard
dude.
that joke before? It's
Oh,
like,
I have.
you- yeah.
Trevor Noah on Son of Patricia has the exact joke.
Ken, your eyes went so big.
So an entertainer told that joke one time on the boat. A black entertainer who had won Wayne Newton's reality show, and he got his own show.
Okay.
It was like, so we had, but not to talk about cruise ships the whole
No,
time.
it's fine.
But
No,
we had
it's-
to play in my gig was contracted to play 5 hours a day. And that included backing up any guest musician that would come and present music that we had to do. They would do these week stints, and that is the gig, okay? If anybody wants to be a musician, you don't even have to be that great. They put you up in the penthouse cabin. You get, like, luxury, and they pay you. But so he was this young dude who could dance. He was great. But his shtick was he told that joke, and he's like, yeah, man, this is great, though, but see myself on this ship, and I'm surrounded by all these white people, and y'all know what happened the last time you got a bunch of black people on a boat, and they record every show so that you could see it. I started crying. I was laughing so hard the room could have dropped a pin.
Oh, of course.
It was Ken's
Of
face.
course.
Ken's face.
Because you can't do that joke in front, and because basically you're sitting there like, can I laugh? Can I laugh? Is it okay to laugh? Should I laugh?
You're
You're
I don't
looking
know if I should
around.
laugh.
You're
Should
looking
I-
around, asking permission
Right,
to laugh.
Exactly.
It was surreal.
Waiting for another white person to laugh, so then you're not the only white person to laugh.
Nobody
Like,
laughed.
brother man laugh. All right, we cool now. All right, yeah. That was good.
Oh my god! No, I just wasn't prepared for it because, like
That worked
you
out
said,
so well.
You said no, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why would you say no like that? Because I know you were a swimmer, so I'm like, you're not afraid of the
See,
water.
and this is the funny thing is that yes, I am a swimmer. I still swim to this day, but I just don't like boats. I honestly just don't like
that,
boats. So I like we've had stuff at work where they've done office parties on the Detroit Princess. I'm like, y'all have fun. It's like, it's not going anywhere. No, fuck you. I'm not going on a boat.
Yeah, if it paddled though, it'd be pretty cool. You could do gambling because you'd be in international waters over there in the middle of the river. You could do all kinds of stuff
Like the last time I asked
I
was
saw him eat a man's penis one time.
on the riverboat.
Some Step Brothers.
Step Brothers, yeah.
Man.
the
They
last
could do anything. He was an international.
the
water.
last time I was on a boat, it was when I was going to Boblo.
There you
And
go.
That's all I needed. I was like, Boblo's gone. All right, I don't need boats anymore. Fuck this.
I've been on a cruise, but I was like 14, so I did absolutely nothing but eat and play Rush 2049,
Okay.
the arcade game. Because my parents and my family is all drinking. I'm the only one under 18. So I'm like,
Wait,
well,
where'd you go on a cruise at?
Eastern Caribbean.
And you can't drink down there?
Not if you're
18?
14.
Oh, I thought you said 18.
I was
come
I was the only one under
Got
18.
it.
So my cousin who was on the cruise was over 18. My parents were over 18, obviously. His parent, like everyone in our group was over 18, and I was the only one not
They
18
weren't,
or
they weren't
higher.
slipping you drinks?
No.
What a bunch
It
of
was
squares.
It was definitely a interesting experience. For me though, since I've grown older, I definitely don't like boats myself just because I don't like the ability to not be able to leave a place.
Got it.
Like that is a weird anxiety that I've gotten in the last probably 5 or 6 years. We actually had a yacht party for work. So one of our kickoff parties, everybody that worked for my company all went to Boston, and right on the water, they rented this giant yacht. We're all there. They were partying, and it's going through the water. Everything's fine. And I'm like halfway through, like I can't drink anymore because like I just don't want to drink. And sure enough, the second the boat gets off, I hop off, and the guy's like, "Oh, you can't get off the boat yet." And I'm looking, and I'm standing
Watch
on the
me.
dock,
Like, no.
and I'm like, "Do I jump
You want
back
me to
on?"
get back on the boat then?
Right.
Get off or
But yeah, so I don't know if I could ever. I might be able to do a cruise again, just because it's such a big place that I feel like I can escape from one place to another. But these giant yachts, like, there's only so much room you can move before you're still in the same exact spot.
Yep.
and I think you have to do like premium cruising, like none of this like economy style cruise, because then you're in like a 8x5 box and you can't like poop without your knees in your chest and your chin, and then it's just literally like fat guy in a little coat, but fat guy in a little cabin, and
Nope.
you see the same underwater turtle
Nope.
floating with you the entire time.
And you don't have a window
Yeah, that
because you're on the
no.
inside. You're on the inside.
That would be
you know,
worse.
that's the economy cabins. I didn't have a window. However, we did have, because it was me and the drummer got put together. We got the couples cabin because they thought we would have equipment and shit. Which I guess he had some cymbals, and then when they finally sent me all my stuff, I had a ton of crap. But yeah, it was amazing. It was like a queen size bed and a bunk bed instead of 2 little single bunk beds built into the wall. So we had the party cabin. Want to come drink some Coronas? Come on down.
Now, did you have to pay for your?
That's the biggest grift ever, man, and that's kind of a population control thing, which was crazy. Is that drinks were like 35 cents at the crew bar, and it went on your account, so there was no money to be done. But the crew bar, I mean, I'm not exaggerating, 35 cents, maybe 40 cents, and it was this tiny little little bar in the ship. They had a little window, darts, but that's where we would just party, and you would just buy rounds for everybody. If you wanted to change a jukebox, you'd have to ring the bell and buy a round. Okay. So that's fun. That's partying. But then every week when you go to get paid, they paid in cash. So you'd go to muster up and you'd wait, and you'd go to the petty officer, and he would go, "Okay, here's your contract. Here's your bar bill." And like, here's your bar bill. And you'd go, how did I spend $200
in
this
35-cent
week
increments
in beers?
Final absolution for everybody.
But it was a great time. I dated a girl who was a dancer, and crazy parties. I hiked a lot because we were in Alaska, and I was a musician. I didn't have to work until night. So the ship would port, and we would get up and go on these crazy 8 or 9 hour hikes up these mountains. The liquor stores opened at 7 a.m., so we would go buy. And this was 10 years ago. So I remember when the Maharaja came out, Avery Brewing Company.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Like the liquor store in Skagway, Alaska was amazing. So we would go load all our backpacks with beer, hike for 4 hours, be like, why do we put all this beer in our bag to this like spring in a cabin, and then just go swimming and partying, and then run down the mountain to get on the ship and go play music at night. It was dope.
So 22 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
I think this is the most entertaining show we've had so far.
Well, again, that's why I think our show differs from a lot of other shows, because we're storytellers. We're here to tell people stories about people's lives, and just as much as we're going to get into your what you've been doing recently with Black Lotus. That's still a great story, interesting, because it kind of sells who you are. Because we know who you are. We know you as Nick the Brewer, very eccentric, very
Good plug.
Good-hearted, great person. So it's one of those, like, we want to know more about you. But let's talk a little bit more about Black Lotus. You guys are canning now, right?
Oh, we're up on that game, dude. We have the cans to go, 4-packs, baby, selling pints. Oh yeah, shout out to Adam at this barley wine. It's good. You can taste the chocolate in it, I think, from the stout that's left over, which is I'm all about reusing shit.
It is nice, and I'm enjoying it.
It smells a lot boozier than it tastes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not too hot.
It almost kicked my ass when I smelled it.
Yeah, I thought, oh hell, is it gonna be one of those? And it's not.
I wanted to bring that because I was like, okay, I got 2 bottles. I could go there on the way home, so I think they still have some left.
I brought a barrel-aged barley wine too, so we're gonna put them back up.
I am an absolute fan of Ninja Pirate.
Are we gonna mix them and see how they taste?
Well, we just do back to back. See what's up. Who's gonna get the belt?
I mean, if you want to take the red pill, then fuck this shit. Let's do it.
I've got an early morning, so I cannot be. Today is not the red pill day.
It's Friday, man.
Right.
So Black Lotus is canning.
Yes, we have a canner, and we will.
Can you get anything canned, or most things canned?
You can get anything canned.
Okay.
Yeah, growlers are kind of the way of the past. I'm glad that technology is getting phased out for multiple reasons, not only for just spatial reasons and sanitary reasons. I mean, how many times I know in the industry, but people don't really clean them, and so you bring them in, and how much can they get cleaned if I just stick it in my cup sink? I mean, it's your beer, you're drinking it, but still, it's not. I'm a big proponent of every part of the process, and if you don't have a clean package to put it in, everything goes to crap. It's just like your tap maintenance. If you don't have clean taps, then...
Well, it's because they're still going to blame your beer.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Everyone.
It's like, well... But then it's my fault because that's,
Tastes like moldy soap and chocolate.
Yeah. Why does this taste like poop? It's like, well, I don't know. Where do you drink it at?
Well, you talk about that, and I went bowling. I subbed for a friend on another league, and we were drinking Miller Lite, and we got Miller Lite from one bar and Miller Lite from the downstairs bar.
Ooh.
2 separate bars, and you could tell they cleaned one tap and didn't clean the other.
Yeah, a little diacetyl, probably a little butter popcorn.
It
in
was
there.
so weird in regards to.
Or did they like not fully clean it and you got like alcohol and sanitizer in your beer?
No, I don't think I got alcohol and sanitizer. It definitely tasted a little bit more flat as opposed to. I mean, the beer could have been bad too because it's 2 separate kegs at that point. But when you're trying to compare beer, that's the first time I've ever had to compare the same
Miller
beer
Lite
from
to
2
itself.
different lines.
Oh, dude, yeah, you did a. That's like you got like us. You got a real life spike kit. You know.
Yeah.
I think that they were. I don't know if the guild was talking about this or that this was brought up a year ago about how they're going to be requiring people to have logs of tap maintenance and everything. Which I think, number one, I don't know how you would enforce. I don't know a lot about this. It was something I heard in conversation where they were like, and I think I'm a big proponent of holding people accountable for your taps. However, I think a better thing to do would be to educate people on the different flavors and really pound that home. And because it's on, I tell people, I'm like, it would be, you know, people all the time say, I don't like this, or I don't like that. It's your perception. But I try to go beyond that and go, what exactly did you taste? If you don't like the beers that I make, that's why I have 14 of them on tap. If you don't like all 14 of them, I'm sorry. The Black Lotus isn't for you.
Try
you know?
wine.
Yeah, just go to the Renshaw's across the street. They got like 40 beers. The math is better over there. You know, like it's
Statistically, it's
yeah. You know, I mean,
Do they still do like free pizza Mondays?
see? I don't know.
It's been a minute since I used to go to. I used to go to the Renshaw after disc golf every Monday night.
Well, growing up in Berkeley, I loved before the expansion because it was so small and it just had that awesome vibe. And then they blew it out in the front, and now it's always packed, which is dope. But it's just I mean I don't want to fight over pizza at halftime for free, which I think is a.
see now. I mean, if
Put Drippa in 32-ounce mugs. People going at it for the pie.
Really, 32-ounce Drippas.
Dude, I've been served a Drippa that was in one of those big mugs, and I looked at her. I was like,
You're
are you serious? I was like, I don't want this. This is dangerous, you know?
gonna kill a man.
That's like a bar I saw when I was building a menu, and they had Final Absolution pitchers for $9.
Yeah.
No, you don't. And that's another thing that comes with
It just kills
education.
people.
I asked the guy, I'm like, is this a mistake?
Yeah.
Because I just assumed it was a mistype. Like they mistyped it. Makes perfect sense in my head because
$19 would be fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
$19 for a pitcher
Yeah.
would be fine. But
Yeah.
$9, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh no, we sell a lot of it. I'm like, well,
I bet
you do at that
No
place.
shit.
That place isn't open anymore.
You want a T-bone? It's about $3.99.
Yeah.
Because we sell so much of them. Like people
Like
love it.
I could understand it as a loss leader, like trying to bring people in to drink and like they
But that's
might.
dangerous too. You can't be doing that.
Oh, at that percentage, yes. Like a loss leader for beer is perfect when it's Labatt or something that's not necessarily the light lager.
Yeah.
So
Bucket of beers.
bucket of beer. Well, I mean, depending on where it all depends on where you go too.
Yeah.
Because
But the concept, hey, here's
Exactly.
a lot for a little. You don't want like froze, what is that? Frozen rosé. You ever heard about that?
no.
Oh, you guys don't know what the kids are doing these days, man. I've never seen more punk rock people in my life, more ridiculous. And you're like, what is that about? They're like,
I'm giving you the example.
I drank frozen rosé. Trust me, you don't want to get in there. It's one of. I mean, I don't know. Remember
Through a
drinking
straw
like
or with a spoon?
it's like a
Frosty?
frozen. Yes, and then you do that, and then you're like, ooh, this is delicious. And next thing you know, you've had 12, and then you're just that
Bye.
guy. Yeah, that dude, most punk rock person in the world, just being inappropriate because you've been drinking frosé.
My goodness.
That's like pictures of Final Absolution because you're gonna be some dude's gonna be like $9 for a pitcher, fuck yeah, and then they're
Right.
You hold on one second because
Okay.
I wanted to bring up one point because you won another award for Ninja Pirate last
Yeah,
year
you
at the
did.
Craft Brewers.
Thanks,
Was that what you were
guys.
going to bring up or
No.
okay.
I was going to go back to the BA and the line cleaning because I.
Oh, I thought you were going back to the cruise ship. I'm like,
Oh,
I think
oh,
that ship sailed.
No.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
I fed back on the microphone. I laughed
Nice.
so hard. That was
Stevie Wonder sees what you did there.
I'm
Jesus.
punning with you, dog. That was beautiful. Colbert, watch out, baby.
You got a bronze for the old ale or strong ale
Yep, Ninja Pirate.
for the Ninja Pirate.
Ninja Pirate
Is
repeated.
a barley wine an old ale or a strong ale, or does it more follow in the strong ale because of the ABV and?
Yeah, well, so that came from 2 years ago when we won the gold, where in a lot of the competition obviously is you got to be reading the categories really closely because that is. I've come to realize that you can't. You have to. They stick to the guidelines extremely. Just that's their thing. That's the easiest way to ding people. I've entered coffee pale ales and been knocked out in the first round because they say this isn't hoppy enough to be a pale ale, and I'm like, dude, I entered it in coffee beer. The category was coffee beer. You said, what's the style of beer? I said, it's a pale ale. And then it comes back, this is not a pale ale. I was like, no, it's not a pale ale.
There was one where I believe it was either like a lager or something like that, and the first thing, it was at the World Expo of Beer, and you poured it and it was pink, and they're like, oh, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like they looked at it, they tasted it, they're like, yeah, it's okay, but goodbye.
Experimental. So after doing the due diligence, all of the characteristics of what we felt the barley wine exemplified was the strong ale / old ale category. So we chose that because barley wine, you also break it down to American and English, and then there's a lot of preconceived notions about that around hops and what it should be. Whereas the old, I don't know, it worked. And so yeah, it repeated this year with a bronze. Same beer, not the same beer, but the same recipe. I'm brewing it.
And you actually lost to another Michigan beer.
Yeah. So I was there this year. I was at the CBC. And as I got called because they obviously call bronze, silver, gold. I got called, and as I'm walking up, because what was it? Was it New Holland?
It was New Holland. Yes.
Yeah, they paid to get a table. If you ever go, they have this big ass auditorium, and then there's tables, and you get dinner. If you have a budget, and you get a nice dinner, and you're up there in front. And so I was in the nosebleeders in the back. So when by the time they called gold, we kind of met up there, and they were just like, woo! And I was like, hey guys, congratulations. That was me 2 years ago. Way to keep it in Michigan. And they just kind of looked at me like, who the is this guy? And I was also in like denim. Like I had like cowboy boots and jeans and a denim cut sleeveless that had a
Canadian tuxedo?
Hard Detroit hat on. It was great because I went up and I saw, Charlie's there and you bump him. But I said, Charlie, I took gold 2 years ago. I was very dignified. I had a nice smile. People were like, why didn't you just... I was like, because I've been here before. God damn it.
Yeah, act like you've been there.
Yeah, and Charlie doesn't want that. Yeah, I'm not an asshole. He's he's a dignified man. Let's be cool. And he just goes, means you're doing the right thing. And I was like, hell yeah, Charlie. Ding. Not a gold, but I'll take it.
Right. Now for Ninja Pie, for everybody who's listening, you said that there is the differences between the
Are
American
we drinking it, by the way? Because I
English.
don't have
I have it right here, so you want to pass that
you guys
down.
a couple, man.
So is this American or English style?
Oh, come on. Everything we do is American. The two-row.
America.
Come on, go on, get.
Shut it down.
Can I? Yeah. So it's an American beer. I use two-row as the base. I use American hops. All my stuff comes from Yakima Valley, for this beer anyway. And
How long's it sit? How long's it age before you actually start pouring this out and canning it?
Well, this is This is the bourbon barrel version.
Oh,
that's what we're drinking. We're not drinking the red. Yeah,
is why I'm really enjoying it right now.
So this
boozy, nice. A lot of plum
love it
and
when
date
it's
from
boozy.
it.
Yeah, big shout out to Valentine, to Justin and Rufino over at Valentine Distilling. This beer, I love those guys. I love what they put out, and they're also really, really great people. I have a wonderful relationship with them. I won my first award at 2015 when I first started, was the Saison that I aged in their gin barrels, their Liberator gin barrels. Got a silver at the Tastings World Beer Championships, whatever that thing's called.
Nice.
So since then, we've had a really great... I love it, man. I mean, I bring stuff over. I've watched them grow. But Justin, who is the head distiller, had... he was... when I'm going over there, because I give them barrels and they give them back, it's great. We have a great relationship. I get the barrels and then they give them back, do beer barrel gin or whatever. And I was in the warehouse and he's like, hey, see those 5 bourbon barrels? And I was like, I don't know. They were tiny. He goes, well, it's the only small batch bourbon run we've ever done. Because normally a bourbon barrel is 60 gallons. The gin barrels they use are 25.
Okay.
Smaller. So he goes, if I give that, he's like, I'll give it to you, but you got to promise to put Ninja Pirate in it. And, you got to. And I was like, all right. He's like, yeah, you got to give it back. I was like, well, duh, it's done. So it's pretty cool because this is the only. I mean, this is truly a one-off. You know what I mean? You can't. They're too big now. They just got this giant pot still. They're killing the game. So
I'm just getting like plum and
Yeah.
dainty and smooth.
well,
and,
the smaller barrel also you have lesser liquid volume to space, to surface area. So less liquid to more surface area means more contact, and therefore you can age it less time. More of the liquid is put into the wood and come back. So it aged about a year. I would say about 10 months, and yeah, I don't have any. I know you wanted the gift. Ken,
I wanted the gift.
You wanted the
I
gift?
was
All right.
asking him to.
I
I wanted the gift.
All I have left is on tap for that, and there's very little. But I use DCD. I also DCD, Detroit City Distillery. Those guys are friends of mine too. JP and Steve are the head guys over there, and
Do you know how far along they are for opening up their brewery, or is it still because they have a license, they just don't have?
I did not know that, and I don't know
We need to
that.
get them on too.
Oh, they're great, dude. I would love to come on with them. Steve and JP.
I have sent the text messages I have not received back. So
I'll talk to them.
feel free to holler at them for us.
They're the homies. I actually, so that barrel that I had the gift in, which was a rye whiskey barrel of theirs, turned out bomb. You should come to Black Lotus and have a pint or a sniff.
It's north of 14 Mile. He can't make it.
Oh, you don't go north?
It's just barely up north for me.
It's east. It's
barely.
literally the only.
Right. It's like right there. I mean, and the thing is that I used to work in Troy, and I was beyond 14 Mile. Basically, I worked at Crooks and 75.
I used to work at Crooks in 75.
At Fiserv, like right next door to the hotel. It's like right there at the corner.
I was at the New World Systems building.
Oh, well, there you go. So, I used to go to Noble Fish for lunch. So I know.
They're building a restaurant, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so there was right next door to them was a pastry shop or something.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a front. Okay, it was like there was some gentlemen that there was never anything in the cases in there, and there was just like these Persian men that would just sit outside and smoke cigarettes. I know Persia's not a real place, but there are people.
It is a swath of land.
It's historically it is.
Yeah, it's a region.
Historically, it's a region.
It's
yes.
a region. But yeah, they were just like I was like, what is this place? These guys are just in sweatpants, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee.
Track suits and gold chains.
No gold chains, but like for sure tracksuits. And just kind of going. I was like, some shit's going on in here. I don't know for a fact, but something's going on. And then Noble Fish is now officially this week. I was excited because there was a lot of rumors, but yes, they have the window covers up. You know what I mean? That say like more sushi. It's awesome. More sushi, more fish, more market, more.
That is amazing because when I used to work out there, I used to just go in there and get some sushi. That's
a hard addiction to fight, man.
Yeah, it is.
Working at a place that has great food, it's tough because you eat everything in the menu and you're like, all right, and then you start to really just fantasize about sushi. And then I go down a rabbit hole, and then I'm like, just like the cruise ship, my bank statement, I go, God damn it. How did I spend $300 on Noble Fish this month? Like, Christ.
I had this Ninja Pirate barrel aged. I taste zero booze. What's the ABV on this?
It goes into the barrel at 13.8. So probably like
into the barrel at 13.8.
And then you figure with a little bit of evaporation, you're looking at a little over 14, 14 something.
I mean, I get the bourbon just because, I absolutely love bourbon anyway. So I
get like a bourbon sweetness, but I'm
like
not getting a bourbon booze.
I feel like I just like crumbled up one of those small packs of raisins and just started munching on them.
That's too sweet.
Yeah, it's super smooth. And so to get back to your question, to the answer about how the process of it and how long it takes, which is another, I think, plus of being in a brew pub. That's one of the advantages is not having a production schedule, so I don't have trucks coming on Monday, and I have to clear tanks on Friday. I was actually talking to a good friend of mine who just took a new job in California. He's moving from Bend, taking over a brew pub, and he was asking me about diacetyl rests and carving times and things. And I was like, yeah, man, you're going to have the luxury now of, like, I don't really do diacetyl rests because I can, if the beer, not to say I don't do diacetyl rests, okay? If you let the beer ferment at a temperature such at like upper 60s for a lot of my ales, I don't have to do a diacetyl rest because I have the time to just let it finish itself out.
True.
And a lot of the time I go, okay, it's at its final gravity. I don't need to bump it up to get it to eat up all the rest of the sugars. They've already been eaten up, and it seems to work. Sometimes I do. You know, if every batch is different, which is why I love this industry, but if it's having a little trouble kind of finishing out, and for people that aren't really familiar with brewing, the yeast is eating up all the sugars and creating alcohol, and as it creates alcohol, the environment becomes more toxic. Imagine just sticking your head in a bowl of beer, you know, it's
Don't threaten me with a good time.
so sometimes
come out of
sometimes as you want it to get to the very end and not have a residual sweetness, it can get a little stuck, and that's why a diacetyl rest is where you raise the temperature, and all you're doing in raising the temperature is unrestricting it, because there's not a heater that's heating up your beer, but the beer is naturally going to want to heat itself, and so we have mechanisms of cooling it, and you
Right.
just take that coolant and go, I want you to let it get a little warmer, and if the yeast is active, it gets a little warmer, and then you know what it's doing. So the point being, having the time to not necessarily need to do that, the Ninja Pirate is about a 2-month process from before I even put it on tap, and that's even it ferments for 30 to 40 days, which is not traditional because a lot of that fermentation happens in the beginning. However, I believe that the yeast ages and just letting it do its thing and not trying to stress it out at all. And I will actually treat it like a lager, where it'll be in that tank at lower 70s, 69, 68, and then after about 40 days, I will start to drop it incrementally and let it just sit there, and then
Okay.
I cold condition it in the tank. I don't have any filtering processes at Black Lotus, so I don't. The only way that I do is to chill the beer and let it sit, because at a colder temperature, a lot of the protein molecules and a lot of all the crap will come together and fall down into the bottom.
Right.
Which is why most tanks have a cone on the bottom, so that you can get that crap out. But then I'll put it into the cold room and let it sit for another 2 weeks. Like literally, I'll carb it up and let that shit sit for 2-3 weeks at under temperature and pressure, just aging it basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is what leads to the smoothness, because it knocks out all the phenolic alcohol. It's a big thing, but you're able to just kind of let it not rush it.
Just kind of chill.
Yeah.
And for those who didn't get that, Schoolcraft has a really good program that's going on right now.
Yeah. Shout out to Schoolcraft.
Yeah.
Teaching people how to brew.
All that Schoolcraft.
I mean, true. I've only brewed 3 times, and I'm going to do my 4th this coming week. I'm going to be doing a gingerbread spice ale.
Big moves in 2019, baby.
Yeah, moving up. Yeah, after my screw up of trying to do an Oreo cookie stout, which
Should have just ate the Oreos.
yeah, let's just say you should have put the Oreos in at the boil and not after the fermentation, so that the fats in the cookie don't destroy the beer.
Yeah, bud, you don't want those oils in there. That's just gonna really.
Lesson learned.
I mean, that Oreo stout would have been vegan, so that would have been a selling point, because Oreos are vegan.
True. So I'll leave that one to the experts, and for Prairie, their double dunk is absolutely amazing. I'm loving that, and though I would really enjoy if somebody here would do that locally.
What about?
Who we could ask is North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan, just south of Baseline Road on North Center Road.
They're too busy making your ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet, I think they're using it as like a fall seasonal, so I think they could do like a pastry style stout in the interim. One question that I wanted to ask before we go to break, because I think in regards to this industry, and I actually was talking to Kevin from North Center, and he had told me that in April 2014, when they opened, they were brewery number 151 in this state.
Holy damn.
So
we're at like 3 something.
We're over
now.
3 right now.
Right.
But they were brewery number 151 in the state. Therefore, we've literally doubled the entire state in 4 years in regards to breweries. When you have... Go on.
5 years?
5 years. 4.5, 5. I mean, there was 300 something in 2018.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, technically more than that now because it's 2019. With that, how does a brewery like Black Lotus, and this is something that we've discussed with Spencer over at Dragon Mead, I've discussed personally with Brett Coonan over at Coonan, how does a brewery that you don't distro, you're really just a local... You can't, because you're a brew pub.
Yep. We'll talk about the Brew Pub Club after the break.
But how do you guys like continue to innovate? How do you guys continue to do this kind of like, succeed in a world where there's so much selection?
That is the question, man. It's tough. No joke. I mean, sales, not to sugarcoat it, ask anybody. Sales were down this year across the board because you have that pool of people that there's just options, And we're continuing to be in a place where the novelty doesn't matter anymore, which is why, not to harp on the Brew Pub Club and the idea of distribution, but it's tough when, I make all the beer at a place you can only get, and yet 2 doors down at the Renshaw, you can have 50 taps of all the beer in the world. Which, is it better? Is it worse? It's different, and it's an option. You know what I mean? And I don't have the answer to that. It's trying to do the best I can. That's why last year was a big deal for me. When you win the World Beer Cup, it's crazy. It happened, right? It's lightning in a bottle, or it's an experience you have for the first time, and you have to have confidence in what you do. Then this year, when I repeated, it was a great boost of confidence because it just means that I was doing what I'm doing, and all I can do as head of the beverage program is to try to make repeatable, consistent, and great beer. And that comes from cleaning, number one, first and foremost, being a clean and meticulous person. But, how do you change with the times? Like, I tried to make a New England IPA this year because they were asking me. I was like, I don't want to make that beer. I think that shit sucks. And the owner was like, hey, man, you got to do it. And I was like, well, look, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to take a wheat beer and I'll split it and I'll try to fuck with it a little bit and see what happens. Also, we're a brew pub, so we can't make a batch of it and push it out right away. That has to stay on tap. And that shit does not age well, okay? Don't cellar New England IPA people out there in the multiverse. Throw that shit out, okay? It's just like a growler. It's going to taste like boo-boo sniggle fritz if you leave it in your cellar. And so, but having to try to adapt and now going into the winter, I'm very conscious. I'm making a Kolsch on Monday. Yeah, because
happy.
Yeah, no, you have to try to cater to people, to cater what people do, but you got trying to brew true to style good stuff, and not to bag on inspiration and the home brewing aspect, but instead of trying to like take the kitchen sink and put Oreos in it, maybe just try to make like a nice brown ale. Like, try to make something that's clean.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, but I think that mentality too and you're very much impassioned in the game of the craft world. You know what I mean? And it's that seeking the ridiculousness.
It is. Because when and the first thing was that I saw it from the Vale out in, I think they're in West Virginia, or something like that. When I saw that they did an Oreo stout, that I was just like, holy shit, I need to figure out how to make that. And still, even being only the third thing that I've brewed, when I started out doing an IPA, and then I did a pale ale, and then I decided to try and step into this shit. And it is going a little bit too far. It is.
But not to choke back inspiration at all, but that's indicative of the culture. And so the idea of, I don't have the luxury of taking a gamble on an Oreo stout because I'm making 270 gallons at a time. And I don't have the capacity to do pilot batches.
Right.
I'm not going to make 10 gallons somewhere. I don't have that capacity. I also think that there's too many variables. I'm not going to start making home brew. People that do pilot batches, I love it. But unless you have temperature control, unless you have specific glycol control, that shit is not going to taste like what it makes like when you scale it up and have it in a real system.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea is fine. Recipe formulation is a different beast. You know what I mean? Than actually making these little things. But so it's tough. It is difficult, and it's been a tough year. And anybody that tells you differently in the Michigan craft scene that we're in, where no one's really a behemoth, maybe Bell's had a killer year, maybe Shorts is doing great in distribution, but by and far, people that depend on foot traffic and store shelf sales, it's been down.
Yep.
Well, with that sad note,
We'll be back with the Boo Sniggle Fritz Kolsch.
we're going to take a quick break. Eric Smith in the chat says the Vale is in Richmond, Virginia.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. Better on Draft Podcast. And we are back, episode 162, Better on Draft Podcast. Nick the Brewer is still in studio, giving us his hot take on New England IPAs for sure. Before we go into the Michigan Brew Pub Club, we're actually giving away a $100 $100
$100 Zatuna gift card.
Zatuna Liquor gift card. That's
Where's
right.
Zatuna Liquor?
Zatuna Liquor. It's on Rochester Road, just south of M59 in Rochester Hills. Go say hi to Jack. They have a growler fill station. They've got plenty of singles, craft beer, wine, liquor, and of course Matt's favorite cigars. It's a boys.
All right, and the winner by random selection. I'm playing just going back and forth. The winner is Jeff Coates, Disc Golf JC, or at Disc Golf JC.
Disc Golf JC,
Jeff
come get
Coates.
that, baby.
That's Coates with an ES. So, Jeff Coates, reach out to us and claim your Zatuna
2019 is going to be your year, Jeff.
I say
Okay.
that's some good
Play the
beer.
lotto,
He can
Jeff.
bring onto the disc golf course because his name is Disc Golf
JC.
JC.
JC,
Do you think
don't listen to these
Jeff,
guys.
Jeff Coates. Disc
Jeff
golf,
Coates.
Jeff
That's what
Coates.
JC
Not-
stands
not
for.
gift golf, Jesus
Disc
Christ.
golf stands for disc golf.
Right, yeah, but he's not like the Christ of disc golf. He's the Jeff Coates of disc golf.
He is the Jeff Coates.
If I
of
was
disc
you, I
I
would.
see what you did there.
I would buy scratch-off tickets.
A little scratchy.
To the tune of $100, Jeff, and then I would go have
Share it
a
with
party.
Yeah,
You know,
he could buy them all over at Zatuna Liquor over on
Heck
Rochester.
yes.
oh, they'll
Road.
honor it, baby. Tell them
So-
you're here for the big money.
What is the Michigan Brew Pub Club?
Oh, this is what a segue, dude. You've done this before. So I kind of painted a bleak
161
picture.
times.
And it is, man. So when you ask what can we do about it, and this is speaking just from a small sect of things in Michigan called brew pubs, which
What is a brew pub? Let's start there.
let's talk about that. So it's about the year. This is the year anniversary of the inception of the Michigan Brew Pub Club. In Michigan, if you are going to produce beer, you are going to be a manufacturer of beer. You have two separate licenses you can get. You can be a brewery, either big or small, macro or micro, and you can be a brew pub. If you're a brewery, you can brew beer, and then at your tap room, you can sell that beer. You can have a kitchen. You can do whatever you want, but you can only sell the product you make there
At a brew pub.
at a brewery.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever been to a brewery that has anything but their own stuff on tap?
Yes, Paddle Hard.
Yeah.
Or Dead Bear. Dead Bear definitely
Brown
had.
Iron Brew House?
Brown Iron Brew House.
Baraboo?
Those are all brew pubs.
Okay, then I guess not.
Thank you guys must have done this before. You guys are Segway kings, man. You're not even on those little things. You're just zipping around. So, if you guys didn't hear it out there, they just proved my point, okay? Because all of those things are not breweries. A brewery. So, God damn it.
You want to
Have another
reset?
beer, Nick.
All right,
No, I
and we
wanna
are
reset.
back, episode 162.
I want to
but-
reset because I was going to reference Griffin Claw because I thought you guys were going to be smart and say something like that, where Griffin Claw has a
Griffin
full
Claw.
Who you don't say. They have a full bar. You might ask. It's because they have a distilling license and they can
Atwater in the park.
Atwater in the Park has a distilling license, so you can get a full bar there. The only Atwater in the Park is just a subsidiary. You can't get liquor there.
I think you can, but we continue. Atwater,
I don't
Atwater, Detroit.
If you can get liquor there, it's because they hold a distilling license. I don't
Atwater
think.
Water has a
I don't think you
distilling
can. I don't think
license.
at
I don't
Water
think you.
Park.
Brad is a honorary member of the Brew Pub Club, and we've been there.
You
Atwater,
ready?
Detroit.
Here you go. Granite City Brewing.
That's not real.
Yeah, that's not
That's not real.
bad.
That's
really
not
bad.
real. That's not a real thing.
That's like the macaroni grill of breweries.
We're getting off topic.
Yes.
Point being, if you make beer in a brewery setting, you are allowed to sell it in your place. But the big thing is you can distribute it. You can sell kegs. You can sell cans. You can sell it to retailers. You can have your beer to be bought at other places anywhere around the state and the world. But you cannot have in your tap room Jack Daniels. Okay? You can't have Frosé in your tap room unless you make wine. So what a lot of people are doing in these bigger places, such as Dogfish Head, Bell's. I don't know if Bell's has a distilling license. They should, but they're getting all of them. They're getting a cider license, a cider wine license, a distilling license, and a brewing license. Because once you have the equipment, who cares?
Right.
Now we go to brew pubs. Brew pubs is a totally different category, which is we are allowed to make beer in our facilities, and we are also allowed to, in our facilities, sell other people's wine, other people's beer, other people's liquor, just like a bar. We have to have food. There's no brew pubs that don't make a percentage of their income on food. You have to have a full kitchen, full service kitchen. And so when the law was invented many years ago, it was thought that craft beverages were a very risky field, and that giving these small businesses this advantage by being able to retail outside alcohol was an undue advantage to the breweries that were starting when Larry Bell first started operating, okay? And it was tough because people didn't know what the hell that shit was. They were like, this is crazy. I don't know what this is. This is hops. Bah, you got too many hops. So now because of that, we cannot distribute. So this whole idea started when I won a gold medal 2 years ago at the World Beer Cup, and I could not sell anyone a keg of my beer. We're allowed to sell beer to the consumer if you come to Black Lotus, which is why we have cans now. I bottle beer too. You could even come and buy a keg for your private party. But I am not allowed to sell you something for reselling.
So if I owned a
liquor store.
Or I was thinking, what if I own a bar? Can I not buy your?
Not at all.
Because that's resale. Yeah.
Yes, you could buy it and call it whatever you wanted. Like that's what is an illusion too.
Okay,
is
so
that
I could buy your beer and call it Matt's beer.
You could,
as long as it's not
any person that owns an establishment that has a contract with you can call it whatever the fuck you want. You buy it, it's yours.
So I could buy, if I owned a bar, I could buy, say, Two Hearted and call it Three Sharded, and I'm good to do it.
Yep,
sweet.
And the only thing that's going to happen is that they're going to come to you and go, "We're not selling you any more beer." You know, I mean but yes, once you buy it, it's yours, man. You can do so.
Yeah, but if I'm become like the #1 seller of Bell's because I made 3 sharded, like not Hopcat, not all these Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, not, all of these bars. It's because this random podunk bar decided to sell 2 hearted as
Ben's
3
beer
sharded.
stand sold 3 sharded. It was, yeah, but no one does it because you're not going to get a contract with someone. So it's a hamstring. It's an old law that should be changed because recently they just was pushed through legislation a couple years ago that anyone in the brewing world who produces under 1,000 barrels of beer, 1 barrel of beer is 31 gallons. So do the math. And the majority of these 300 breweries that are now open in Michigan, the vast majority produce under 1,000 barrels. So they fall into this, we can self-distribute. Huge advantage. You don't have to pay a third party to take your beer, to take a cut of it. Right. You can load that shit in your truck, drive anywhere you want, and sell it. Brew pubs can't. The only way you can get beer is to come in, which in itself is a hamstring. It is a disadvantage. And there is not, that's just the way it is. We're trying to, now we go to the Brew Pub Club, right? So I got frustrated being a brewer, being very proud of this thing that I had created and made and got recognition for. And also, it's an intimate relationship. I know the owners. All brew pubs are tiny. Most of them are family-run businesses. I would say, all of them. I don't know if that's true, but they're tiny. And
seems like a true statement.
Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get fact-checked, but I think that all of them are family. My Black Lotus is a family-run establishment. So you're intimately connected with the owners because most of us are single one-man operations because there's not a budget to hire more. And so just their livelihood is intimately tied to mine. There is no parachute. There is no backdrop. If we don't sell beer, I don't make money. And that's, this is my career. So from that came how do we, as a community, and I know all of these brewers in the local Southwest Detroit area, Southeast Michigan area, last year at the Michigan Brewers Guild, I got a little frustrated, which is public knowledge, and got a little frustrated with the organization of the guild and how I feel that they overlook our sect. And for better or worse, I basically came together with myself, the brewers from the Royal Oak Brewery, the Detroit Beer Company, the Great Baraboo, Lily's now, the WAB. I don't think I'm missing anybody. What?
Mills? No, probably not.
No, well, yes, now we're doing that. That's our next thing. So I came together there and I said, hey, guys, we're really getting the short end of the stick here, and all of us are struggling. What can we do to help promote each other, to help promote brew pub beer? Because the bottom line is that brew pub beer is the freshest beer you're going to get. I brought this hip hops today. I put it on tap today. I canned it myself. Literally, the freshest thing you can get is made there and put right on tap. It hasn't been sitting in a can. It hasn't been sitting in a keg. It hasn't been sitting outside getting warm on some asshole's dock on the middle of the summer that he didn't get his delivery time picked up, so his beer's getting skunked. That's not a factor. If you trust the brewer and you like the place, it goes right from the tank to the tap. So all of these positives, and we said, what can we do? How can we do this? And we went, okay, well, we all like each other. We're all smart. We all enjoy it. Let's just try to brew at each other's place once a month, and then we produce a beer that the joke is, I can't buy the beer that I made at your bar, at your brewery. I came, I made it, I can't even buy a keg to put on tap to promote that. The irony of it. So what we've done now is we've established the Michigan Brew Pub Club. Instagram, Brew Pub Club. We have a logo. We've been making tap handles. And so now the idea is that our latest one was at Lily's in Royal Oak. We made a Kolsch. We show up, we party. It's awesome. Like, we all have restaurants, so we eat. It's a celebration for us. We've learned a lot. I personally have learned a bunch just because you have 9 brewers in the room and everybody does it differently. But the one thing we have in common is everybody does everything. You know, nobody is just versed in the hot side of making wort or just kegging or just, none of us have bottling lines or anything like that. So it's expanded our knowledge. It's created a network for us to help each other. And so now what we're doing is that we create a beer and then we go for the tapping. And and eventually we're going to have our own tap so that we'll be able to put, and then we'll have signage. And it's a tiny thing. All it is going in someplace and going, oh, that beer was made by these guys. But it's a small step, and it was the easiest and first thing to do for free. How can we try to start a revolution with no money? Because eventually we would like to maybe take a percentage of this and put it to a fund so that we can reach out to other brew pubs in the northern part of the state and have field trips. Michigan Brew Pub Club field trips, because the truth is that we have to be responsible and safe. And so if we're going to go party somewhere for a weekend, let's rent a bus and go up there and just go. We're just making beer, that's, you guys get it. You guys understand the culture. It should be fun.
It's a good way to kind of get around the rules.
Boom.
Because, obviously...
Fuck the rules, baby!
It seems like the rules are not going to get changed, at least anytime soon, because...
There's not a lot of momentum to change the rules.
They're too busy, making rules to make sure that alcoholic beverages don't have any part of the marijuana plant, as it is.
So I went to the CBC, the World Beer Cup this year was in Nashville, which was also really fun to be there for. But... it's an amazing conference, and I went to the whole week, all of the lectures, and the coolest one, the most informative one, was cannabis and craft culture, which was, and it was they had a bunch of lawyers, and it was crazy because Canada has now legalized for medical and beverage across the state. You can infuse anything with it, and after the whole presentation, the woman goes, in conclusion, if you want to, because basically they were like, it's never going to happen until it gets approved federally. Like, we just made it recreationally in Michigan, that's great, but the FDA and the ATF, the alcohol,
the alphabet boys,
the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, it's a federal thing, so they're never going to allow it until it goes federal. So she goes, if you want to do that, move to Canada.
Pretty much.
And I was like,
you can't do anything here because of the bill that passed.
If you can't distribute, right, then it only stays in house.
Yep.
And if it really never touches the ATF because it's not federal because it's not even leaving your doors.
And here's not across state lines, but it's the MLC. It doesn't matter. It is because we are under. It's wild. The government takes control of that.
So
we wouldn't be able to do it. They would find out and be like, no.
Learned this week or past week because I was at the Michigan Brewers Conference this past week. Matt and I were there.
Yes, you were.
Well, that's what you saw. I got to see a lot of the stuff. In regards to the MLCC, technically every single beer, whether it's distro or not, needs to go through approval with the MLCC.
MLCC or the
MLCC.
Okay.
So even if you're not destroying it outside, you don't need you need to get it approved through the MLCC. And
what is getting approved? The name, the recipe.
You're talking specifically about packaging.
Correct.
What if you never take your beer out of the keg?
You still need to.
But what are they
according
approving?
to the MLCC?
Is it just a rubber stamp, or are they really saying, sorry, you can't brew that style of beer with that ABV?
I'm pretty sure they're approving the name, and then I'm pretty sure the label that you're using, you're just reusing the same label over and over again in regards to
labeling it.
Well, okay, so this is where you're talking about. We don't do that because we're brew pubs. We get around that.
Oh, okay.
We don't have. Oh, dude, they don't. There's no way for them. You're right. You're absolutely right. We could do technically.
Say it again.
We could do technically whatever we wanted because there is nothing going out for public sale or taxation. We're strictly regulated too. So here's a case, Ken. I got a cease and desist from Dogfish Head.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about
CDDFH.
We're not gonna talk about
could.
your heroes breaking down, like seeing your heroes and then going.
Do you have an NDA?
No, but it was no.
I just wanted to know what the name of the beer was you got the C&D for.
Oh yeah, no, it was Worldwide Wheat. Mark had been making Worldwide Wheat. Mark is the owner of Black Lotus, the founder, and he was the head brewer for 8 years. He'd been making Worldwide Wheat for 8 years. So they're 12 years old. So go 12 years back now. Jesus, yeah, 2008.
4? Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
Whatever.
And
I can't do math.
And then, of course, Dogfish Head has Worldwide Stout.
And so it didn't happen until I came on and started getting on the
Winning
radar,
awards.
and getting on the radar and getting.
Stop winning awards, Nick.
Yeah, and well, people on the internet, and yeah, Sam Cologne. It was 3 years ago, because it was right. I went the only GABF I've been to 3 years ago, and yes, he sent us personal letters, cease and desist, saying that Worldwide Stout was an integral part of their portfolio and that they couldn't. And it's like, dude, you got this guy that can. We're not making money, okay? We can't even distribute. Like, you're an asshole, Like, you got a trolling lawyer that's what they do. They find this shit, but come on, Sam. Like, really, we've been doing it for 8 years. It's an integral part
You're not going
worldwide,
anywhere.
and so now we call it www.wheat.com.
You should call it DFH.wheat.
Well, then I saw him that year at GABF, and it just really disappointed me. He may have had an off day. I'm not going to disparage people, but I was like, oh, really? You look like a bag of shit, and just like you're kind of don't
You
even
smell like one too.
Well, you don't even remember me, and we had this discussion. We've had letters going on 30 days ago. It wasn't 2 years ago. I came up and said, "Hey, remember this?" And you just looked at me like you looked through me.
Well, do you think it's because it's just his, like you said, trolling attorneys that do it all, or do you think that he actually knows every?
Oh no,
CME?
Mark got purposely in touch with him. Like him and Mark had a personal email back and forth about it.
But again, do you actually think it's him, or do you think it's
No.
like Santa's elves answering letters?
Yeah, they bring it to him, but we had.
You think though?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. His legal department, they're like, "Hey, this is happening," but he signed off on the letter, and he had personal contact with Mark, the owner.
Yeah, not defending anybody, just devil's advocate.
Well, I don't
Devil's
blame.
beer advocate,
I
if
don't
you
blame
will.
him for doing it, not at all. But if I have a business, if I have this shit going on, I remember things. Like I smoke weed a lot. I'm a proponent of it. Okay, I'm not.
wrong
I'm
with
like
that.
I'll be the first. Yeah, duh. I mean, I voted yes, baby. We did it. Yes,
Yeah.
we can make weed legal. But to look at me just totally vacant-eyed for having written multiple letters less than 30 days ago is just like, hey, dude. Either that or you're wiping your ass with these every day and doing it. And then you're just a real POS because do something else instead of trying to step on someone's neck.
True.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess okay. So let's. I mean, if
Don't
if we
Giuliani
have
me.
time on this.
Don't
Yeah,
Rudy
plenty
me
of
right
time.
now.
So, where's the? Let's.
I think I'm going to need another drink, though. We should definitely pour something.
Oh yeah, dude, do the double black IPA. Don't give me that shit.
Well,
okay?
Ken's gonna hate the double black.
Yeah.
Why? It's a double black, bro.
Bring that out.
Why has it got to be black?
It's because I'm
Because
okay.
you always bet on black. Bring it out. Bring
So
it out.
to talk about the Oreo thing, right? Just to bring it back to it.
Sure.
Because when I this was my Oreo. Like I have never made a double black IPA, and I don't get. There's no mistakes in the brew pub industry. You're making a beer. I mean, you can polish a turd, but there's
I
really,
give you like 4 cups, Rob.
it's. I mean, you ever tried to make something or bake something, and you're like, that didn't work. That is not what that is. That's not meatloaf.
As
That's
a baker, yes.
I have.
Without a doubt.
So
I tried vegan meatloaf.
I tried for 2 years to get Lotus to let me do this. You know what I mean? And it just never worked into the portfolio. And I was like, every year we've done on the anniversary, I do a hip hops. 2 years ago, our 10-year, it was a 10% hip hops, which I geeked out about because it was 10.00% alcohol. Like it was.
Dead nuts on the nose.
Oh, dude, you hit those numbers and you just get a little chubby. You're like, ooh, brew chubby. I did it. Last year I did an English IPA with 11 different hop varieties. How many hops can you put in your beer? I put 11 in mine. Suck it.
That's more spices than KFC.
And then this year,
Right on. That's right on line.
yeah,
Right.
but a black IPA, a double black IPA. People don't do it because number one, I think I use debittered black malt in it too to just give it the color, which is cool. Now we're developing all these different kilning techniques, and I think this was either Brees or Best, but one of them has a trademarked debittered black. I don't know what they call it, but it's like registered. They're like, we did it, we figured it out. So it's just dank. It's super dank, and it doesn't taste like a hoppy stout. It tastes like a black IPA. You get a little roast at the end,
I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't get a whole lot anyway.
I mean, my thing is that with black IPAs, especially like the one of the few that I've enjoyed was from Batch and the Low End Theory, and
That's their
And
Ken, tell us about
it. Gives a lot of, at least
like
for low in theory, it gives a lot of hoppiness.
You don't have
at
to like
the
it,
back
Ken.
end.
It's good.
Oh, I'm not offensive. Like, I'm going to tell you, I just don't like it. But it's
But
not
that
my
means
style
it's good.
of beer.
It's a good IPA. If you Ken does like, I'm getting just mild notes of everything.
I'm getting the roast, but I'm getting so much bitter that I know.
like
I
out
think
of-
that's what I like about it is that it's giving mild of everything. It's not, it's not. It's like, all right, here's an IPA, punch in the face, and then oh, by the way, we're gonna punch in the face again with your face right at the end. And
Could have just brought the amber.
Well, but here, check it out. So this was made in October. So this is a 5-month-old double IPA.
Why haven't the hops fallen off?
That's what I mean. That's
What hops?
That's the
What up,
well, no,
zombie dust?
that's what I mean too. I taste a little bit at the end, but it's amazing. So this beer too. When I went and gave back the rye whiskey barrel to DCD, I then I love trading with these guys because it's just we get so geeked out about it. Because they took that. The gift is a 14% Belgian quad. I had it in a rye whiskey barrel. I gave it to them. They put moonshine in it. They do their DC. They do their Detroit City. What's the football team? The soccer.
Detroit City Football Club.
They do
DCFC.
They do a corn liquor for them. A moonshine. That's
Like
sponsored. Yeah, it's good. It's very sweet. So they put that in there to age and gave me a bourbon barrel that had aged red wine in it that they had then aged whiskey. So they had a red wine whiskey barrel that then I put this in. The double black IPA, and we're gonna release it at October, like a bloody black vampire.
So
I'm
I'm
all
sorry.
about
I
that.
think I'm gonna harken back to old school Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
This should be called like Rosterguard 70.
Is that a
because-
Metroid quote?
No.
Oh my bad.
So
wrong system.
it's what it is. It's an homage to a nameless, faceless player on a team that's just like good across the board, but not great in any one category. It's like 7 out of 10 in everything because you're getting some malt but not overpowering, some hops but not overpowering, and it's just adequate in everything.
Yeah.
And
It's the Jeff Backus of beer.
That's a good. I mean, I'll take that because
You're
it's.
fired. Mute yourself.
I'll take it because it's aged. It's an IPA.
Well, the thing is, you taste everything and nothing's overpowering, and they're all playing with one another.
That's what I'm really
and
enjoying about it. It's just
You
it's,
get everything
it's
in
mild.
its own little sense, and
Yeah.
you can one flavor you'll get more hops with a little bit of bitter, and vice versa.
So that's just the aging then. That's literally just sitting under pressure.
Rosterguard 70.
Because when you first drank it, it was a kick right in the nose. I loved it because it was just it just was a juxtaposition of your mind. Like it's like when I do the same coffee pale ale we were talking about. It's called I-75 Red Eye, and it's an espresso pale ale. And so it's clear. It looks just golden and clear, but you drink it and you're like, this tastes like an iced espresso. I enjoy that. The juxtaposition. Well, anyway, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you didn't like it, Ken. But I'm also glad that, I liked your assessment because that's good. It means that it's aging well and that I guess that's what it should be. It shouldn't be super pungent. The hops should go away and it's not fruity. It's not oxidized.
So what's the ABV thing on this?
Oh, that's 12.
Fuck me.
I love how there's like
You
always
do know you could have beers that are under 10%,
The
right?
IPA is 8.2, man.
the question is why.
Here's the answer.
As I saw on Facebook, this
Why
week,
not?
Not everything's a soft drink. It's under 45% alcohol.
The answer to that is because, well, number one, we're in the Christmas season, so these are bigger beers. But my pale ale is 4, and I don't know, IPA, because I can ferment them clean. And it's like 8%, you're supposed to have a couple, and I'm a proponent of I don't want you to drink 12 beers and feel bloated and nasty. And I know that probably companies like, well, hey, man, we'd love it if you had them drink 12 beers. That'd be great. But, it should be – I don't believe people should call it double 8% either. Like, that's a single to me. That's just a good – that's a good strong – my wheats are 6%, like pretty across the board. But that's why I'm brewing a Kolsch. I got a Kolsch. I'm brewing it Monday. It's going to be 4%. I got a Berliner Weiss. This is what I want to talk about, too, is that I have a Berliner Weiss coming on, and I've – really nailed
Oh,
this.
you got Matt at your door right now.
Can
Keep
you
going.
move to the east side? Can you have like a White Lotus,
Dude.
on the east side, please?
Well,
Why gotta be white?
and happy accidents and shit where this year I was saying this at the break, but I want to entice people to come in and I want people to try to like jock my style because that's how you get better in life is that I had a Berliner and I make it about 3.6%, so it's very light, a lot of water in it, just Pilsen malt and wheat malt. That's it. Very little. I use like a 05, so a California ale yeast to make it, and very little hops. Like hops at, I think 45 and 60. So,
Okay.
just at the end, right?
Right.
I had it in one of my
That's
tanks.
kind of late, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't want it to be bitter. I want it to be sour. I want it to be tart. I want it to just kick you.
Okay,
You want the
You want
hops
that
to
puckers, but then you want it to be wet, so you want another.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want the hops to round out the malt at the
Yeah.
end. And in the past, in the last couple of years that I've done it, talk about shooting from the hip. When I first did this recipe, that was scary as shit because I was like, okay, I'm gonna just throw yogurt in my kettle. Like, this is crazy. I don't know. So this last summer when I made it, and I've dialed the recipe in, and the last couple batches prior to the one that we just finished, it was really tart and lactic in the nose, and it was almost as like you cut it in half, and then it was bready and malty on the finish. And no, it went away. It wasn't like you were, because the thing about a lot of those is you can go overboard and you're drinking just a lactic acid bomb, which I love. That's sour, but this was sessionable. You could drink it and it still tasted like a little malt at the end. So I left it in. So I made it this summer, and it turned out to be that another thing about Brew Pub, since we don't distribute, a problem can be that you run out of room because you just you're making beer, and I have a bunch of beer on tap, and I get excited and shit. I'm like, ooh, I got all this beer, and then I don't have anywhere to put it.
Right.
So I had this beer in my tank, and I had it cold crashed, which means you drop the temperature to 38 degrees. For physics nerds, that's the maximum density for a liquid. That's what you want your beer to be at before you carbonate it. So it sat there, and it sat there for like 3 weeks. And finally, the time came for me to put it into my cooler and serve it. And I'm transferring it, and I'm like, oh, I just ran out of beer 90 gallons before I should have run out of beer. Hell, Jimmy. I don't know what this is. Like, I knew what it was. Come on. What could it be? It's sitting at a cold temperature. There's less than it should be. Has everybody ever...
It's evaporated.
Dude.
Plasma.
Look, I guarantee you if you walk out in the morning tomorrow and you fall on your ass in the middle of your driveway, it's not because it evaporated.
It's plasma.
It's because it froze, son. So basically, unbeknownst to me, but a very happy accident, and one that I will be repeating from now on, is that I froze it. Ice distillation. Normally used famously by the Coonan brothers that I worked for prior to Black Lotus for their ice bock, where you take a beer that's at 13% or a high alcohol beer, and you freeze it to pull the water out, therefore increasing the ABV.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nobody does that shit for a 3.6% beer. That doesn't make any sense. That's like, can I get light butter? Like, like I have the lightest butter. Can you just...
Does it go to like 4%?
Yeah, like 5. It was like 5.2. But all the water was gone, and it tasted like a Starburst. Like that's how I describe it. It was like a Starburst beer where you just got that fruit punch, and then that was it. And I took that, and then I made a version which was a mango pineapple version where I used pure pineapple juice and mango puree, and we would it was a summer crusher. It was so good.
Taste the fucking rainbow.
So that's going to be coming up in about 3 weeks. It's called an ice vice.
Can I while we're recording, can I reserve a keg of that?
Yeah, I'll sell you a keg, dude. I will.
It's going to go right into my living room.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a keg reader.
I thought you were about to say right into your belly, like just
Right.
not
Will.
pass go.
And a little shot of gin in there, man,
Do
in the
daily
morning
videos
or
of
at night or
Matt's daily keg stand video.
lunch.
Matt's
You'd just be sitting there in the recliner, just...
So that's like the fun thing that I'm excited about doing because it was I'm also interested to see.
What about a tequila barrel?
Oh, dude, I've been on that tip forever. Like Storm Cloud, maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it might have been, I don't know, I think it was at Summerfest. Those son bitches had a IPA, tequila barrel IPA that blew me away. Blew me away. I was like, holy shit, this is, because IPA is tough to do in a barrel, right? The oxidation of the hops. You can go south on you.
Like a mezcal barrel?
Dude, you don't even fucking talk to me about that. I will get so, we could do a whole 2 hours on mezcal as opposed to tequila for me. I'm all about it. Fuck the Jalisco region of Mexico. That's fine, dude. I love it, but and mezcal, you bury it all. I'm a super mezcal nerd. In LA, I went to a mezcal bar quite a bit that just had like 80 different types of only mezcal.
Nice.
That's not beer, guys, but that's
Oh no!
I
That's a lot of mezcal.
Yeah.
dude, so smoky. The cocktails, bartenders were so hot too, all tatted up. Loved it.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. I think when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the news. We'll get your opinion on what's going on in the world of beer.
It's only in the world of beer.
Only in the world of beer.
You guys don't want my opinion on that.
We'll be right back. Better on Draft Podcast. 162 Better on Draft Podcast. If only you guys heard what we talk about while we are on break. But if you
the Pooh doesn't wear pants.
are a brewery, a bar, a beer store, anyone that wants to come onto the show, why don't you reach out to us, betterondraft@gmail.com. Now, with segment 3, we're going to bring in...
Here is Robert with the beer news.
Feels like forever since we've...
Feels like the first time.
feels like the very first time. Thank you. Was that Foreigner?
Feels like the first time is a song by Bare Naked Ladies.
No, it feels just.
I know
like
what he's
it's
talking about,
falling
but-
for the first time. Not feels like.
Yeah, you're right. Fall
Ooh,
first.
I'm
Feels
a
like
big-
the first
good job.
time is Foreigner. I'm pretty sure.
I'm a big BNL fan too from back in the day growing up, and that was a good reference.
And if you like Bare Naked Ladies, you can go to Better on Draft Facebook page @Better on Draft and watch Ken sing 1 week karaoke.
I did. I
yes,
did.
you did.
Oh
The
shit!
funny thing was, I saw the picture and I just saw the mic in her hand. I was like, he's singing 1 week.
Maybe I was hosting trivia.
No, I was.
Do you know all the words to that song? That's
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was the most confident.
From the chickadee China to Chinese chicken. He knows it all.
We'll have a drumstick and your brain starts ticking.
Damn right.
Let's not talk about Fox Mulder and the X Files. Okay?
So with the beer news, we have
Rob
Rob.
Man's in this one.
damn it.
I'm doing my best not to do it. Again, it's kind of like that Eric Cartman
You
Come
are.
Sail
You're
Away
just-
thing earlier. Like I almost have to sing the rest of it.
Oh man, like here's the Florida Beauty Tantric.
Oh,
You're not gonna
yeah.
break me. It's like Sting on Tantric. Like Snickers guaranteed to satisfy. Rob, the news. There's a lot going on.
Oh my God.
There's one thing I want to talk about first.
All right.
I'm just
Here's how at
boom.
McNabb Films.
What did you stop?
I don't make films,
Stop.
but if I did,
Oh, you're both getting muted. Guest muted. It is me and Rob talking
What
right
did
now.
you want to talk
The
about?
calories in beer.
The calories. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into the calories first. And I like to think of a good chunk of us know that, and truthfully, that we probably don't care. That craft beers tend to have a higher caloric content than that of your typical yellow beers that are on the market. Of course, as for other people and actually kind of for ourselves, that generally seeing is believing, and there is no more seeing than what is going to be starting to show up on Bud Light cases. I don't know if you've seen any of the advertisements that are starting to show up especially during the NFL games, going into the playoffs. But they've started to make a big deal about the nutrition label that is going to start showing up on
Nice.
the Bud Light cases. So basically, we've seen all of the stuff that has happened with the like of Michelob, where Michelob 64. We all know it's 64 calories.
is that the workout beer?
That's the workout / I do keto / I do.
You have to work
Wow.
out. You have to
Slash-
work out to drink that beer.
I'm triggered.
I know you're, but it's basically the I do keto, I do CrossFit, and everybody needs to absolutely fucking know about it. Beer,
Yeah.
as I'm running on my Bowflex, that I'm drinking
As you're
Michelob
running on
Ultra.
your Bowflex.
That this is the beer that I'm having when I'm done working out. But basically, Bud Light is going to be starting to put this out in February. Miller Coors and Heineken are also pushing out their nutrition labels that are going to be on the packaging by the end
Are
of
they changing the
2020.
beer? Sorry, or are they just
To
changing
my
the
knowledge,
labels?
no, they're not changing the beer. They're
just putting the calorie
basically
content.
putting the labels on there. But from what we know, obviously Miller Lite is 96 calories. Michelob Ultra is 64. And my thing, it
Isn't
was
Bud Light
funny.
110.
Bud Light is 110. It was kind of funny. I was putting in my notes, and I was like, to me, both of them taste like old LaCroix, but people still drink this shit. But
It's like
yeah.
Krav Maga.
Yeah, like Krav Maga. But Bud Light coming in at 110. They had in this article from the Free Press is that Bell's Exposition Stout is clocking in at 383 calories a bottle.
Well, it's Guinness.
I don't know what Guinness is. I don't
Well, that's comparable.
I think
You
it's like
can't
125.
Because you can't compare a Miller Lite to a stout.
True.
That's like saying hey, this is a salad. It has 7 calories. This is a giant loaded baked potato with a bunch of cheese on it.
I
12-ounce Guinness is 125 calories.
Bam.
So that's comparable to the Budweiser.
That's comparable to Budweiser. But if they
Thanks, Ken.
and basically what it looks like, at least from the article that I was reading, was that it was saying that it's still uncertain as to whether or not players in the craft beer industry are going to start putting out these labels. And so, and so you've got all of the big players who are putting out these labels.
Not with the shutdown.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that one in a bit. But if you've got all of these big players who are putting out labels, and everybody is starting to see these labels and seeing these this caloric content, I don't know. It for me, it feels like we already know everything from Miller Lite. We already know everything from Mick Ultra. The fact that Bud Light is coming out with their label to basically say, okay, a 12-ounce can is going to have 110 calories. How is that going to change the makeup of everybody who already drinks craft beer as it is to really care?
You didn't even. All of us raised our hands right now. Holy shit! People out there in Radio Land. I just have I'll be quick. I know that's not my style.
On Facebook.com/Better on Draft. You can see the video
We've got
of
Yeah.
this right now.
Well, this is what I want. Is
Radio
that
time.
I want to know, based on being the craft beer drinker, why
And the producer.
and the producer, why should I care that Bud Light puts
Michelle
out this
Obama.
label? Happy birthday to her, by the way, because her birthday was yesterday.
I also here's my 2 cents, and this is I hope this is an interesting take. Is that I think that this will be a not to say a defining line, but there's been this will be I hope this is a spike that defines craft beer, because the culture used to be counterculture. It used to be you're against these things. So look, number one, the only people that'll put that on there have the money to put the science out to do that. You have a lab. You have so even if
You can redo your labels.
I think that this would be a bar of macro craft beer or the macro economy, if Sierra Nevada adopts it, if these people that can do that versus the real craft culture. Because guess what? I have no effing idea, like that censorship, about what is in my beer. I don't have the money to send it off.
Calorie-wise, you know the ingredients.
But if Sam Adams
Can
did
you do
it,
that?
should it
Can,
feel-
can you do that from the Can you do that?
Well, no, you're saying you don't know what's in your beer. I'm saying you don't know what's in your beer calorie-wise.
Yes,
You
that's
know
my
the
point. I was like,
ingredients.
can I take 10? Don't even tell me that I can re-engineer that. So yes, that's my point. Is that the people that choose to do this path, I hope that becomes a dividing point where you go, oh yeah, that's another, like, who cares? Like, that's not craft beer. That's not craft.
Right,
That's
because,
macro beer.
Because with the label, there is that. I feel like there's that little bit of disadvantage that comes across of it, because you're looking at a Bud Light label and you say, okay, water, rice, hops, yeast.
Why rice though?
malt. Oh, why? Oh, dude, Budweiser.
Well, no. I'm asking. I'm thinking that people who know nothing about beer will say, "Why is there rice
Yeah,
in my Bud
good.
Light?" That's what I meant.
I don't want no rice in my American beer. God damn it, that's not an American crop. Do we have rice patties in this country? I don't know. Do we?
So, anyways,
I don't know. Do we have rice patties in this country?
yeah, I'm sure we do.
I don't know if we do.
The
Maybe in the bayou.
Yeah, there we go.
But
As far as I know, you ain't getting rice except from Korea.
Whoa, let's.
I mean,
Hey, that was like borderline for you.
I was
So you
gonna
get
say
a-
we will have a lot more places in the future though to make rice. Though we're gonna have a lot more coastal area. We're gonna have a lot more
yeah,
swampland.
that's true.
All right, so let's.
Ain't lying.
Okay, so to Nick's point, I think it's gonna define those that can, and those who can't.
I hope if Clown Shoes comes out with a caloric count, like that Dunkin' Donuts beer you were talking about, or whatever it is, like I think that it would be we've always been
Calorie
poking-
count, fat fuck.
Yeah, the brown note is an actual beer label that exists. Like we've always had tongue
The
in cheek.
brewery in Kentucky
Against the grain.
against
Yep.
the grain. Thank
So
you.
Yep.
the idea that I would laugh about it when people come up to me and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, I heard you were the brewer. How many IBUs are in this beer?" And I'm like,
Like 6 or something.
Sure, you
No,
can
no,
make
I-
up a number and he'd believe you.
dude, I say all of them.
Oh.
Yeah, and then when they go, "What do you mean?" I go, "Hella." I just say hella. And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, there's hella IBU in that beer, dog. Do you know what you're drinking?" And then if they don't, I just walk away. They don't even know what they're drinking.
You get that question
Did you ask
enough
them what
as
the
it
SRM
is.
they think of the calendar? Or the,
First of all, no one ever comes into Black Lotus and doesn't know what they're drinking. Like that's not the caliber of drinker we have. But it confuses the shit out of them.
Nobody's coming in there and asking, is this keto friendly?
I think this might be a
paleo
thing
friendly.
in March. This might be like a 1 month thing, But what's going to happen is then Bud Light, like we talked about, they're 110 calories versus Miller Lite's 96. So then they're going to be like, oh shit. Well, if people start shopping calories, they're going to lose that. And
I mean, caloric content alone, they're already losing just from putting out the labels because of them having more calories than the other two.
And what about the idea that if I want to drink, if it's going to take me 4 of those Miller Lights or High Lifes to equal 1 Two Hearted or to equal one of my 8.2% IPAs, what is the mass index of that? Like, if there's only 96 calories in one Michelob Ultra, but it's going to take me 3 to feel the same effect that I would, or I'm just a vicious alcoholic who wants to continue drinking and not want to feel like I am, so I'm just going to drink Michelob Ultra all day, the whole day, just to
That's why you
sustain.
drink white wine.
That's why you drink Frosé, dog.
But anyways, the only danger I see in this is with their unlimited fuck you budget is if they decide to start lobbying local government and saying, hey, we would like to, pay you guys to make it that if you decide to distribute beer, you have to do this, which would cripple.
Got it. Well, the shutdown, dude, that's not going to happen. They can't even pass.
Well, I'm talking state, because the state. So
well, the state government shut down too. You ever try to go to the library? They're pooping in the aisles of the library now. The state library?
I've been doing that the whole time. Is that how where you go?
I mean, there's paper everywhere.
I think
Two
the
Hearted
biggest.
I'm sorry, I was going to say a Two Hearted is 212 calories, by the way.
So what I would do if I had the marketing budget of somebody, I would just make a joke out of it, and I'd be like, hey, one of my beers equals 4 of these, but would you rather drink 4 of these or 1 of these beers? Because if you because most people
Also, you know what? Have you ever seen those? Like, they're always posts from moms on Facebook that says, "Here's my credit card," and then here's the PIN number, and it's like a quadratic equation. Yeah, it's like a math formula.
I'm not in those circles, man. I don't do that. I'm not trying to troll moms and get their PIN numbers.
Well,
and shit.
sorry.
That sounds like something like oaklandmoms.com or some shit.
So
like
my
that.
thought is
BloomfieldHillsMoms.com.
Yeah, more likely.
short Gross Point moms, babe.
That's right. Cream of the crop
But, like,
right there.
You don't have what if you don't put like the number as it is, and make it like you said?
Well, no one would know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. 80% of the industry in Michigan, I guess, because I don't know other states, but 80% of the 300 breweries here would have no way to know the caloric count or give a shit. And so that's anyway. I think it's funny, but I hope that it defines the macros for the micros, just like those 2 chicks fighting over Bud and Bud Light in the fountain back in the day. Remember that ad campaign?
More taste, less filling.
That's
And they were like,
that's
Miller. Well, so
Great
why
taste.
can't we get back to that? I want 2 girls beating each other up over which beer they like better, and I'll pick the one. Doesn't even have to be the winner, the girl that wins. I'll pick the one I like, even if she loses. I'll be like, oh, I'm drinking Miller Lite. I don't care if she got her ass kicked in the fountain. I want that beer.
So
That makes more sense to me than saying rice, water, and yeast is going to give you this many. So if you drink 12 of them, you're going to have to go 13 miles on your Fitbit to get it all out, and you can't only eat kale. I don't want to live in that world.
What's wrong with kale?
Ken.
Only kale, Ken. You ever had green poop that feels like sandpaper coming out of your rectum?
Yes.
Have you? Because that's none of
That's
that.
horrible, dude. That's a horrible experience.
You never been on a juice diet.
And this is why I use kale for smoothies and not eat it whole.
Yeah, bro.
I
It's
do it
like
for my
corn.
Caesar salads.
Chew it up all you want. It's coming out the way that it was made. It's coming out the way God wants it to.
One of the things that
Better on
I
Dookie.
one of the things that I feel in regards to the calorie count, because obviously, as
been
as
doing
Rob,
keto for
as
like
Rob
6
says,
months.
I'm doing keto, and I have to tell everyone that I'm doing keto. In regards to dieting, I have looked at what drinks to have, what drinks not to have, what drinks have a decent amount of carbs, which don't, and that kind of stuff matters to me in regards to the fact that if I'm having one beer, sure, I'm probably not going to care too much in regards to what I'm drinking. Am I having a session of drinking? Then I'm probably going to go with something light because I'm going to get the same effect going with somewhere light than I am going with, because I'm going to drink the same amount in volume.
You're a connoisseur, though. Like, you understand paying for a good meal. I mean, it's like I could eat 100 chicken nuggets, and I would expect to feel like
Nothing wrong with eating
if you go to a meal,
Don't even say what you're going to say, because I know what you're going to say.
Let's look at it like this, though. I'm drinking here. This is for people who can't see if you're not on the internet. I'm drinking PBR. I fucking love PBR. But if I am going to sit down and do a barbecue and drink, and I want to drink multiple beers, it's going to be PBR. And that, I guess, it's not that it informs. I'm not worried about my caloric count. It's just the gravitas of the beer, to use a very sophisticated word, of just lighter beer is lighter. Period. Sometimes you want to drink it, sometimes you don't, and I guess that's getting mixed up. Like you're never. But if Guinness is only 110 calories,
125,
you solved the problem. Just go drink Guinness.
Well, for me, like that's exactly how I feel in regards to Guinness.
Not with little Baileys and some bourbon.
Well,
It's more than 125 calories.
I was gonna say you're adding so much sugar to that; it's not even funny.
I'm all right with that.
In regards to that, you have all day IPA at 140 and solid gold at 140. The thing is I think I'm going to be honest in regards to the difference between the people in this studio as opposed to people who are not in the studio who might not be.
We're a lot cooler than you.
No. No, we're definitely not. You're all cool. Thank you for listening. We definitely have had long periods of drinking, and by long periods, I mean hours on hours on
Days.
hours on hours on hours.
Parties, drinking bachelor parties in the sun where you're drinking, like where you go through 10, and this isn't a joke, and this is not to say alcoholism is awesome, but when you have a mountain of 30 racks, because that's what you're doing, and I guess that comes from more of like, I don't know, I look at it in moderation too, where you can eat. You can eat small plates and stuff, and if you're going to do that exactly, like no one's going to say, hey, I'm going to go to a tailgate, right? I'm going to go to a tailgate. I'm going to be at this event for 4 hours before I go in and start hitting the bourbon barrel barley wine, or if they do, they're an animal,
Jesus.
and that's not for, they don't give a shit about caloric count.
Nope.
Then those people,
They don't give a
don't
fuck
know
about
about
whatever they're getting
alcohol
ready to
count.
watch.
So I do think though that I think it's a good thing. I think there should be transparency in label, and if you want to put exactly how many calories are in there, I think then it would be funny to. I think they should also then on the packaging that it comes in, if it comes in 6-packs or 8-packs or 12-packs, say the entire caloric count of the entire thing. Therefore, making them sell smaller batches. Oh, I can't get that 30-pack. That's going to be 4,000 calories.
Well, what's funny
Can't do it.
is probably like
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago when Jim Gaffigan had that whole thing where he brings up this whole cookie thing and he's like, a serving is 140 calories. Okay, serving size, 2 cookies. And you're like, who eats 2 cookies?
Yeah. Once you pop, you just can't stop.
One sleeve of cookies. No, 2 sleeves of cookies. That's
Right.
how many I'm eating. For me, and I think that's where we talk about, and there's definitely a lot of people, and I know we promote in regards to responsible drinking, because when we're on here, as much as we're drinking these fucking high ABV beers, Nicholas,
Sneaky.
You texted me this morning, man. You called down
did.
the thunder.
I
You knew
did.
what you were getting into.
About it.
we're drinking very, very slow. We're talking where we eat snacks while we're here. We're making sure that we're eating part by part. Rob's stealing multiple cans.
We've had one beer maybe over 2 hours, maybe 2. Like
Says
maybe
you.
Well, total. Like I brought an 8-pack and we still have 6 of them. Well,
And that's how you have to look
4.
at it. And I think a lot of people are going to start counting in regards to when they're looking for those long day drinks, when they're looking for those watching the Lions game or watching 2 playoff football games in a day, or a double header for Tigers, and you're watching these long days, or St. Patrick's Day or something like that, where you're going to do a long period of drinking. I think not only are you going to look at the calorie intake, but you're also going to look at the price point too, and you're going to measure price versus ABV versus calorie.
Oh, dude, come on.
And you're going to come up with some calculation in your head in regards to what you're going to drink, how much you're going to drink, and that's how many you don't think so?
I disagree.
Why not?
Again, because I'm going to go back to this. I used to work in the beer industry. I used to merchandise giant chain stores, and the people that would buy cases of beer the most would be old ladies or wives who would be shopping at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and they go get a suitcase, they put it in their fridge, they have a few a day, or they buy it for their husband because they know that's what he wants when he gets off work. And so much of beer is bought for somebody else. I would like to say that about 50% of the beer that's bought in America is bought for bought for non-personal consumption. Meaning, I'm buying this because I'm going to Rob's and Rob's.
Yeah,
and
just
I
like
get
food,
theirs.
man.
Yeah.
No one just go. I mean, even
So
if
So potluck or significant other. That's what I'm hearing.
So my thought is, if I'm buying Rob beer, right? Like when you buy a handle of Fireball for New Year's, like you always tell, you would never say, "Oh, this 24-pack of Bud Light that I'm buying the host of the party has X amount of calories. this person should be watching their figure. I'm going to change to another brand.
Yeah, very few people go. I mean, I don't. I don't go. I'm gonna get this 30 rack of Strohs, and I'm gonna drink the entire 30 rack. But I think that gets to the crux of, we got away a little bit from the conversation about caloric count and in the craft world. The macro mass-produced breweries will always be better at making cheap. And just by nature, it has to be lighter than cheaper, lighter beer that you're going to get on an economy scale. That's no one's going to go buy a 30-pack of Strohs no matter how low they get the calories because they want the calories. It's because they want to share it. You go I buy a 30-pack and I put it in my fridge because me and my roommate, people come over all the time, and there's the beer. Like, it's the cheapest and most efficient way to provide people with a beverage. You know what I mean?
Unless you're going to get a keg and like
unless I'm going to have a kegerator,
you don't want cups
then you're
over
talking
ice.
about technology and all this other shit. So it's like, but I agree. I think that's a really good point, is that the mass produced light lagers in this country are always going to be primarily for sharing, and that's why they produce them in the commodities that they do. And even if they do the caloric count, that will disassociate it from craft, because even if you bring, I mean, it's true. It's just the beer's heavier. It's just heavier because it's marketed that way. That's what the craft beer in America,
because it's more than water, hops, rice, and barley.
Yeah, and it's a rejection of the history that happened. Like the revolution in craft beer happened with the 60s, with the rejection of a lot of past norms. A lot of past European Catholic Christian norms that were, this is how you live in society, this is what it is. We were the revolution, the race revolution in the 60s, where people were like, I want to do what I want to do. And that idea of taking the science and the technology and the techniques of beer, which came from Western Europe, they transitioned, and then it was like, I don't want to make this swill that people have been making a shitload of money on, because all the people that, when they came over, the immigrants, they got good at it, and they were like, this is what we drink. So as a rejection of that, craft is always going to be different and heavier. And so I guess that's why the caloric count won't matter, because if you want a light beer, go get a 30-pack. And
if you're scared, go to church.
Well, and as a brewer, I love it. Like, there's people always ask me, my family gets a huge kick out of at holidays. They're like, look at the brewer drinking PBR. And I'm like,
because you enjoy it.
Yeah, I was like, you think I want to drink the shit I make? Fuck no. You drink it. I brought it for you. I want a beer to enjoy, and I don't want to we don't have to party all the time. We don't have to take our pants off every day. We can just, sometimes we can just have.
Yeah, but you just want to bring them the Ninja vs. Pirate just so they start talking. Dude,
I love
talking shit about.
I love lubing people up, man. That's my job. That's what I do.
Shut up, Matt.
But there's nothing wrong, and there'll always be a market for it. Just like there'll always be a market for fucking quinoa and kale smoothies.
True.
It's always going to be
kombucha.
there. Oh, well, that's
crack.
fermentation, baby. Like,
oh yeah,
you take that long enough and it tastes like vinegar. You can drink it and clean your kitchen with it.
Damn right.
I've done both. Clean out your insides and your kitchen top.
True.
Let's do one more news article, because I'm enjoying this conversation with Mr. the Brewer.
All right. So, of course, as we conclude,
Or is the your middle name and it's Mr. Brewer?
No, dude, Mr. the Brewer's dope. I like
Mr.
that.
the
Never
Brewer,
thought
okay.
about it. Mr.
Mr. the
Nick
Brewer.
seems somewhat of like a music substitute.
No, it
teacher.
seems like you got kicked out. You lost your degree at The Simpsons.
Yeah, they're like
Mr. Not no more Dr. Nick. It's Mr. Nick.
You know that's what I wanted. So this is funny too. Is that Ninja Pirate, which is a Mark named it, but I wanted to call it Dr. Nick's Barley Wine Elixir and have a picture of me yellow, like on the hey everybody. But I'm happy that didn't work, because the one thing in the beer industry, there is no trademark on recipes. It's just names. So Ninja Pirate is great. Black Lotus can have it forever. And when I have my own thing one day down the line, there will be a Dr. Nick's Barley Wine Elixir series.
Amazing.
Dr. Nick's series.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
It'll be. I'll have oh man.
Hey, everybody.
Hey everybody! I'd like to get drunk. I got some sweet treats for you, Dr. Nick. What ails you?
All right,
Sound
going
like
on
half
to
Dr. Nick, half Russian person.
Is that what he is in Eastern or Ukraine or something?
Probably.
all right, going on to our other one. As we conclude day 28 of the partial government shutdown, breweries across the nation are starting to pretty much feel, let's just say, the squeeze, the pain, the vice grip. There's a whole lot of that they're feeling right now. Basically, without the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau being able to approve labels, beers can't be sold, whether it being in or out of the states. Old Nation has been, in the news a couple weeks ago, Well, actually, a week ago, I believe it was.
Isn't that a massive misquotation of what I actually said? But okay.
What?
I thought that was a misquote.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sorry.
All right. So basically, there are also breweries that are waiting for permit approvals, even to just open their doors. There was the couple breweries that I ran into that have, they've got all their equipment, they got all the beer, they're ready to open, they don't have the permit, they can't do shit. So basically, for those who don't know, the TTB basically takes about 3 weeks to approve labels that are submitted by breweries. If you throw in the fact that we've been sitting around for 4 weeks as the government has been shut down, they're going to have a whole hell of a lot of catch up that they're going to have to do with the backlog that is going to come through with all of the requests that have come through already, and on top of the ones that are already that are going to continue to come in, rather. There are some breweries that have been sitting on beers, kind of getting into the pinch as they decide to what they do with that beer. There was one I came across. It was a Kansas City-based City Barrel Brewing that has decided that they have been just kind of sitting long enough, and with it being an IPA, that they feel that, an IPA needs to be served fresh. So they feel that they don't have much of a choice other than to basically serve that beer for free. They're going to be doing some sort of private ticketed events that is also going to allow for federal employees that are affected by the shutdown to come in an hour early to be able to get some of this beer. But City Barrel, I don't know if there's any other breweries that are going to be doing anything like this, but for them, they basically stand to lose about roughly, they say 3,000 to 4,000 in, I'm guessing that's just all supply costs.
Yeah, no,
not retail costs.
No,
because I would think retail
commodities.
Yeah, I would think retail. You're probably looking at close to maybe
30 grand.
30 grand. I was going to say 20.
30 at least.
Okay, so you're talking about
that
30
shit
grand.
Is crazy.
And and they actually for this brewery as an example, they actually had 4 beers that they were trying to get approval for, and they only got approval for 1. So they're still waiting for the other 3 as they're trying to get rid of this one that they already have to get rid of.
And I want to clarify for people out there that might think, well, what do you mean you can't get rid of your beer? I don't understand how that works. So basically, it's this. A lot of these bigger breweries, they make a batch of beer. What we were talking about today, Oreo cookie stout. You have to innovate. You have to try new things. A beer can take anywhere from 19 to 30 days. So once you create a recipe, maybe you've done a little pilot system, and then you're going to do a big one of it. But you're not going to pay the money to get the label approval until it's already in production. It doesn't make sense. That's the chicken before the egg. So the problem is now you have a company that has thousands of gallons of this beer, and they don't have the kegging or the capacity to just say, well, I'm just going to put it in storage. It has to get canned. It has to get put in packages. And what this crazy shit is that they don't have the label. The label seems so stupid and so small, but it is the brand. It is everything. And they just can't put it. What he's basically saying is that they're going to can this shit off into like blank cans that are empty, and you can't sell them legally, and they're just going to give them away. And so I read this too, and it broke my heart. Because to get to a point where you've reached this goal of having your beer to market, and you've achieved all these obstacles, and then saying you can't sell that, you can't get it out.
Well, I guess what if you called it like applicant 13478?
You would have to get a label approval.
Exactly.
Anything that gets put in a can
got to be approved.
And even so, my growlers like these, you see the ABV and the date. That's blank. I should have filled that out. I was bringing them right here. I didn't have to. But technically, this is illegal. It has to be dated, signed, and approved by the government. It's wild that we got approval for these because it's in-house cans. But that's what's crazy, too. Like, they don't – imagine these guys. They're like, okay, what are we going to do with we need 100 kegs now. Because you could keg it off. Then you don't need label approval. You could keg it off. A keg is $100 a keg. That's I've looked into that. Like, a blank keg costs roughly around $100. So you're looking at –
10 grand.
I need $10,000 today to get and the beer's in the tank, and then you got other beer coming through. You know what I mean? Like, it's a stupid. It's like you ever seen Bad Boys 2? Cinematic masterpiece. You ever seen when
according to Hot Fuzz? Yes, I have.
The rats are eating the coke dealer, the ecstasy dealer's money. He's like, this is a stupid fucking problem, Dad, but they're eating my money. That's what it is. You have this product, and you're like, well, what am I going to do with it? You could name it whatever you want, but you can't. when you're on the scale of having to get a truck to come and take it, like, and I am on the absolute opposite end, where I'm trying to get people to walk in the door, but it is a very unexpected consequence of the shutdown, and it's just shitty, man. It's just crazy because you're wasting a commodity that came from the earth that you took a lot of energy to do, and it's just you're turning it into garbage.
So I'm gonna kind of play funny, kind of devil's advocate.
Lay it on me.
Those that
There's a whole lot of devils in this advocate.
those that are approving, right? That same industry is also enforcing it, right? So say you guys were a place that distributed or whatnot.
Yep.
You could the ATF would have to come to you and say, you're breaking the law, here's your fine/ticket. But they're also...
But then everybody that took that bonded parcel would be liable.
They'd be complicit.
Yeah,
They
there's
can't
no,
do that.
the
But it's not
distributor
like
would
you
not
have-
come and pick it up. And
Well, no, I'm talking... Okay, so let's say that you're at a
we're
place...
talking about places that are so big that they can't find another way to dump the beer. We're
So-
talking about a Brew Detroit, 250 barrels at a time. They have schedules going. That beer comes out, gets packaged, and goes. And you're like, I can't label it. And they're like, okay, I got a semi full of fucking unlabeled cans for you now, bud.
You got Old Nation, because Old Nation is sitting there they're basically just started trying to distribute, and they're distributing to Illinois and Ohio, and they've got they basically have done all of their allocation for what they're going to do for Michigan, and now they've got all of this like Electron Brown, M43, Boss Tweet that they can't move to these states because they have no approval.
So they'll have to sell it in Michigan.
But you're already looking in regards to the fact that they've moved so much barrelage to Brew Detroit that they don't have the capacity. Like they're going to sell it, but it's going to sit in the shelves at Powers or wherever they distro at.
And also, you can't. It's not possible to relabel
Okay.
30,000 cans. Like that's the whole point. You're not gonna get a fucking semi full of these cans that are heat wrapped and then relabel them. Like it's just not possible.
Yeah, I was just saying, the people that are making the laws can't enforce the laws if they're also shut down. That's all.
But if you still break the law, you
on
broke
books, yeah.
the law.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In 2 months, they can come after you for breaking the law 2 months ago.
No one's gonna buy it. Like you just won't. It's known. No one's gonna go, oh, let me do that because it's crazy. It's a crazy circumstance that comes
well,
down.
let me ask you. So if this,
We don't have to worry about that. We don't distribute. It's in house.
right? But if I came in and bought this can from you,
Uh-huh.
but this was a label that hadn't been approved yet, could we both be in trouble?
We don't have to worry about label approval
Because
we're not distributing.
Because you're a brew pub.
So this
we're a
only
brew
affects
pub.
those that it distribute.
Yeah.
Okay.
It only affects those that go through the 3-tiered system.
Okay.
It only affects those that are out in the world. And I'm sure that Mark has had label approval for what we have because those are 10 years old in his game, and he got it. That was
So we're talking but a brewery that's just open, that's only selling kegs out of their tap house. This isn't affecting them.
No, but it's affecting them for the ability of if they had intentions of going to distro soon, like for instance Canton Brew Works, who is going distro now.
Or let's take Shorts. How many beers does Shorts make? How many?
85 million?
Too
So
many.
and how many get to can?
And I mean, in shorts,
Too many.
In shorts is
Well, no, how many get to label though? Because that's the thing.
Oh,
85
you're
probably?
still looking at probably 60 to 70 easy.
That's my
Right.
point. Well, no, my point is that it's 1/3 of what they ultimately make, and I'm sure they've tried to get label approval for everything.
And I mean that they just started. I know that was one news thing that we haven't covered in a couple of weeks, but they want to distribute or are distributing in Florida. So if you talk about the possibility of, I mean, I don't know what they have approved and what they don't have approved, but what if you're looking at a situation where they only have 15 labels that are approved, and you've got these other 45
Don't you think
that
they would
are
have
not?
their top 15 approved? It's not like they're
Yeah, no,
it's
we're
not
talking
short
about-
soft parade. Isn't
but you
approved.
still need to get it approved per state.
And you still have
that's
to worry
not shut
about
down. The federal is shut
but you
down.
still have to worry about the beer that's still sitting there waiting to go.
But again, it's not like soft parade isn't approved. They could send
You
soft
still
parade to Florida
you
tomorrow.
still need if it's been approved for Florida, yes. But it needs to be approved per state because each state has
but the
specific
state-
regulations
The specific
for
state TTBs aren't shut down.
But
the
you-
federal TTB is.
correct. But you
We're
still
talking about newer breweries that are trying to get we're talking about
Yeah,
someone
so-
that's trying to get it on a national level because we're talking about distributing breweries. We're talking about people that are going bigger, and it's like I need to get this going for all of this, and I can't through label approval. And new breweries. If we're talking about in the last, how many years? 4 years? We've doubled the number of breweries in the state of Michigan.
Yep.
So let's take that and exponentialize it around the country. How many people have opened up in the last fucking year? Thousands in the country. And then how many of them now are just getting, it's just wild. It's a wild trickle-down effect of, you think it doesn't matter, but if you're dumping, all the money in the brewing world is startup costs for your equipment.
So you know what the lesson of this is? Go to your local brew pub.
Come to the fucking Black Lotus, man. That's why I'm here on a Friday night, guys. Just trying.
Go to your local brew pub.
Yeah, and because
Drink Nick's beer.
Because here's the thing too, like to get real on who's gonna bust your balls. I could come up and call it Nick's Sloppy Second fucking bathwater. Nick's Sloppy Second
Please
fucking
don't.
bathwater.
There's a beer name.
I could call it that. And who's gonna bust me? No one for a while, probably. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to do that. And even if you went around, I mean, you go around the TTB, you can print labels, you can sell shit. People probably don't know, but it'll all come back to get you. And that's the thing. That's why people have to do it. That's what it is. It's just.
And one of the big things we also have to understand as consumers, as much as we're better on draft for a beer show, the labels need to be made for cider, for mead, for
everything.
wine, for liquor, for spirits.
It's not even just it's
Tobacco?
not just beer.
I don't know if there's any
Weed
craft
eventually.
tobacco.
This is fucking with the weed in the state. But because also you could lose your license. That's to bring it back. Like we can do
That's
whatever we
huge.
want. Yeah, you can do
That's
whatever you want, but
huge.
eventually they're gonna get back up and going, and they're gonna go, oh, you pushed off the fucking your big brown toe. Ooh, that's gross. We didn't like that. No, now your license is gone.
You're done.
I imagine you know what I mean. A toe into the. You got it.
I mean,
it's on video too, so.
You got it. You
Again,
guys got
better
it.
on draft.com.
I mean,
or
that would-
Facebook.com/better
But
on draft.
no one wants to risk it, and then no one wants to
No.
go up the supply chain because you don't want the distributor to get it. The retailer, if he's selling unlicensed product, that'd be like me going, "Hey, I'm Dr. Nick. I make a XXX moonshine," and not having any approval and not having any checks.
I mean, you look at.
I would think at that point though too, you're relying on your distro because that's. I would assume your distro's your insurance policy, that your distro's the one that's verifying that the bottles and cans are good to go.
I honestly don't know how that works because, well, no, you're a bonded. Like every brewery is a bonded area, so the beer when it leaves your bonded area to theirs. However, it's on your license. It wouldn't, it's on the brewery's license for the label approval, so they would be the ultimately one to get it. However, and also we're we're kind of going down the dirty rabbit hole of how we would have unapprovable labels approved. But what if you just want to call your beer, like you have to get label approval for any beer that you make. I could call it Nick's Great Awesome Beer, and it couldn't go to market. And so then you're going, well, how do I sell this beer? How do I do it? I can't get my name out there. I can't just call it beer. Like that's another thing. It'd be like if you were a caterer.
Beer number one.
If you were
Beer
a caterer
number
and you
two.
made barbecue, and they were like, hey, you can't sell your barbecue because we don't approve your name of your company. And you're like, but I have the name of my company. It's called Nick's Barbecue. And they're like, well, it's illegal if you try to sell it right now because we're shut down and we can't push the paperwork through. And you're like, I already bought the smoker. I've got all my shit, man. What do you mean? And they're like, well, sorry, we just don't have the people.
I mean, it kind of goes into like all of the, basically in like December, everybody tends to put out their release calendars.
Fuck yeah.
And you've
with
got,
all their specialty
you've got
beers.
all of these calendars are coming out, and now they've basically been affected by this 4-week
Didn't even
shutdown
think
that's
about
been
that.
going
That's
on.
a really good point.
So now you're talking about everything, and granted,
So I
I
guess
know
do
like
people
from
even start making fall winter beers?
but
'Cause
here's the thing: is that usually basically what I've been seeing, at least from like the bigger breweries, is that I've been seeing the Costco season creep. It's like, why the fuck are you selling bikinis in December? It's fucking cold outside. I don't need swimwear.
Not in Arizona.
But when it comes around, when it's May and June, all of a sudden all the swimwear is gone. You go into Bell's, and they've got Oberon that's coming out in April, and it always feels like Oberon is always early. If you go into the labels and the fact that everything gets pushed out, now all of a sudden all of those beers, not necessarily Oberon, but everything that everybody has had planned to come out in a particular season is now been affected because the government can't approve the label for it to come out.
And even if it hasn't, it's in limbo right now.
Let's actually bring up one because there's probably one that we could think of off the top of our head, and that's the Mothership series from Founders. Because I doubt every single Mothership series label has been made because you don't know the ABV right off the top of your head.
Right.
Therefore,
You also don't have to put that on the label, by the way.
really.
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't have to put ingredients. You have to put the Surgeon General's warning.
I learned something new
So
today.
I'm just going to say
I
that
didn't know that.
if the Flying Buffalo series is delayed, I'm going to burn down the White House.
I mean,
Like they
that's
did in
not
the
going. The
Revolutionary
Flying
War.
Buffalo's not going to be delayed because I mean,
We say that now, but
I know there's been a talk that the government
But-
can shut down for like years,
But
but
that
that's
comes
just,
out
that's
in
just not going to
November.
happen.
That stuff
Right.
takes 10 months to sit and chill. So
Yes.
it's going to take somewhere.
But I
They're
mean, if
mashing that
it's
shit in
but
right
if it's
now.
like what Nick says is where we're talking about them not going after the pursuing approval of the label until the beer is basically done, then I wouldn't see them going for the approval of the label until maybe October.
You guys,
So
the shit's not going to
let's-
happen.
Let's hold on.
Well,
I want to come back real quick, and I'll go right to you right before because I have a question for Nick. If you were a brewery, if you were a Griffin Claw, a Founders, anything like that,
If
and
I
you're-
had money
if
and opportunity, is what you're asking me. Yes.
you're making this beer, all right, beer is going to take 45 days. At what point are you putting to the TTB your label? Are you putting it at day 0? Are you putting it at day 30? Like, where would
If
you?
I'm a bigger production brewery, we've already done pilot tests. We've already done it in our pub. This
no
beer,
pilot test, brand new beer.
No, oh, dude, this beer has been in our tap room. There's nobody that goes straight to market without putting their shit in the tap room. This beer has been in development for a long time. Everybody that's doing this has had their beer in development for a long time.
Okay.
Which is crazy because this means there's a backlog. Like we're talking scorched earth here. The shit's not going to go past April. If people don't get their tax returns, that's it. Like that's it. That Trump, you're done. Like that's messing with people's money. There's only 800,000 people right now that are having their money messed with, which is not to degrade at all or to take it down a level, but that is such a small sect of the country. You take it and you make it the majority, people are going to lose their shit. So
play with people's money, play with their emotions.
that's their life. All political affiliations go out the window when you can't pay your rent. So my point, like, yes, if I have all the money and all the means, then I've had this in the works forever, and it doesn't really bother me, because I'm not. But then the reality is, like, you guys have been to Beer Fest. You've seen the shit show that it is, and all those people have planned for weeks for that festival.
Yeah.
And they are coming, and it is last minute trying to just do whatever you can. Extrapolate that into the brewing industry where people don't do everything at once. You know what I mean? Where people aren't they don't have the resources and the departments to do all these things. And so, yes, sometimes maybe you strike gold and you get a beer that's fucking amazing and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to name it this. And then you try to send it off and it just comes back nothing, so those are two different things because we're talking about a macro and a micro. And the majority of the breweries in this country are micro.
Well, that's kind of why I'm asking you, like, because you've gone through the process in regards to, I assume, getting label approval.
Yeah, it's a bitch.
Again, when are you going for your label approval? Are you going at day 0? Are you going at day?
You're going before you decide to ramp it up to production to do a packaging run. You're doing that, but at the same time, that could be 30 to 45 days prior. So let's say that we had our shit in 30 days and it took them 30 days. Let's say that this is what's crazy.
How long does it take normally?
It can take 2 months. So let's say we put it in at Thanksgiving and then we decide to make the beer. And now because maybe we're number 1 on the queue, but the shit is shut down. So
Right.
it doesn't, it
Doesn't matter.
And then the backlog is only going to continue.
So I'm learning this live right now.
Yeah.
When you're putting in a new label, it could take anywhere from 30, 60, even longer time frame,
and it's
to get
going
it
to take
approved.
longer now. So what we're talking about is people that have, like he said, their portfolios planned, and they have to then, like, it's we're not going to have the brewing industry collapse because my batch of, like, let's say that everybody that has a label approval that is in limbo, that is only a packaging brewery that can't divert their product to some other vessel, kegs or whatever. Let's say they all have to dump a batch. You only dump one because then you're making your standards that you already have the labels approved for. So no one's making any new beer. No one's coming out with any new labels. That's the thing. You just literally go, well, nope. Now we're just I'm going to make hip hops and I'm going to make my red. I'm going to make my stout. I'm not going to try the new shit because I don't know when it's going to go through.
So you're bottlenecking innovation.
It's already happening.
So, all right, let me ask you this question. All right, let's imagine that you did distribute, okay?
Yeah.
This is your vessel for hip hops.
Yeah.
if you made a beer called, what we call it, Boo Boo Sniggle
Boo Boo
Fritz.
Sniggle Fritz.
So if you put Boo Boo Sniggle Fritz in this and saying it's hip hops, but knowing it's Boo Boo Sniggle Fritz, could you say this is hip hops wink
Version 2.
Go take Boo Boo.
You just
Sniggle-
changed the name.
Yeah, that's
No,
what-
but
you just changed your
You
brand.
just changed.
No, but what I'm saying is, could you maybe just put Boo Boo Sniggle Fritz
Yeah.
into hip hops and say, no, that's hip hops. We just mislabeled it. We
so
just put it in
could
the wrong
could
thing.
Chipotle serve Sparrow pizza and say it's Chipotle? Wink, wink.
Hell no.
But if it-
How far is that going to go until people go, well, that's not that.
Right.
But no, I'm saying if people are complicit in the act, like
If everybody
people,
loves Sparrow, then you
if
should open a
people went-
fucking pizza joint.
But if people, all right, again, imagine pizza's outlawed, and you go to Chipotle and you say, hey, you got some of that pizza in the back, just roll in that.
Can you make me a calzone? But that's an IPA. Like that's what I mean.
A calzone's a pizza sandwich.
Shit is blasphemy.
Thanks,
Pizza
Ben.
being outlawed.
Yeah. Well, you're it's two different things, man. Like we're getting back to you can buy Budweiser and call it Mikey's Magical Elixir and sell it until Budweiser comes to you and says, "Hey, that ain't fucking Mikey's Magical Elixir. It's Budweiser, dick."
But you could say, but it's dun 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 to the dun dun.
Do you know how many?
Not dun dun dun.
Do you know how many people bitched? Oh, Vanilla Ice.
Wow, we're gonna go there.
Because do you know
We're
how
gonna
many
go
people
there.
were up my ass for the last week because I had hip hops off tap for 9 days? It was
many?
not on
9
every
days?
person that I talked to because yeah, right. You slave, you swine, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's
Did you get a
because-
bad Yelp review?
bro? I probably, you know what? I'm probably gonna get a. I've actually been very good on this. I actually thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be composed in 2019. I'm not gonna be an idiot.
Sorry for ruining that so early in the year.
Well, you've been composed.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I know. I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm not gonna be dumb as a bag of bricks.
You actually were called a savant in our chat earlier today.
Nice.
That's good. That's good. You
Did
better
someone
believe
spell
it.
that word wrong?
It's a very easy word to spell.
Asperger's is cool too. If you guys want to say that.
I love how, in regards to the industry, Matt's trying to game the system any way possible, which
Yeah.
is the
You do
stat.
Well, no, because you can, man. But that's how that's one of those things where I could go anywhere tomorrow and start my new career. I could just never call it Ninja Pirate
Well,
because I could make the same barley wine, but I couldn't call it Ninja Pirate.
Could you call it Pinja Nyrit?
Sure.
well, I guess let's bring it to reality. Okay, so Baffin just brewed Mango and Chained at Brew Detroit, right?
We just snap back to reality.
Yeah,
Back to life, dude,
There
if
goes
you will.
reality. So what if it's November? There are still no new labels. Baffin has all their Mango and Chain in cans in their area, and someone says, "Hey, I want your new beer. Let's call it Matt's Magical Elixir." And they say, "Oh, we don't have it." They go in the back, and meanwhile, they know they're giving it into a mango can, and it's
Well,
kind
why
of like
don't
a
they
wink,
just?
wink, nudge,
Why wouldn't
nudge.
they just get stickers and put it on the can?
Because it hasn't been approved by the TCP.
No, just get a blank sticker if they're selling it to you out of the brewery.
I'm just saying, but if it's like again,
You're talking about impossibility, man. Neverland isn't real.
How do you?
You
how
can't
do
get there.
you-
watch me do me, as Rocco once said.
In regards to it, maybe it's because it's like Crowler Law or anything like that.
Crowler Law.
When I go to Sellerman's has cans, but their labels are all the same, and they just mark whatever they pour
Yeah, that's
into the
dude,
cans.
that's what we did. That's why we have to do it where the ABV and the date. This is a to-go license is different than a packaging license.
Okay.
So that you have to denote that we cannot pre-package things. You come and we have to give it to you to go. It is the to-go license. It is not, it gets I don't want to get really technical. It goes into the reuse of a thing where that's why you can bottle and not can because you can't technically reuse this, although I could if I pop the top off, whatever.
Well, they sell can tops.
It basically they are treating this as a growler. So the growlers have to be marked. Every growler you've gotten is marked somehow. It should be the date and what is in it, because basically what that is that goes back to the moonshining laws, where they want to know what is bonded with the government. What is in here is what is said to be in here. You're not transporting moonshine. You're not, it's just like if you have a Twinkie, the government has regulated that's a Twinkie. It's not a bunch of drugs. Like you can open it and know it's a Twinkie. That's what the FDA is. That's why we have these regulating bodies.
So prior to
You want to blow up the regulating bodies, Mike. I know it's awesome, but you just can't. Like, we don't have people checking the kale, okay? He's going to have a raw butthole tonight because of his kale, and it's bad.
but
That's a real thing.
But they're
People-
checking Romaine.
No,
they're checking
not.
Romaine.
You better believe they are not checking fucking Romaine. Those people haven't been paid. They don't give a shit.
They're their shit. I mean, they're
You want to smuggle drugs across the border? You go fly now. You go fly now.
I did see the meme that says the government better start paying TSA before the cartels do.
TSA doesn't care. They're playing uncensored music in JFK Airport
That's what's
already
up.
right now as it is.
I'm definitely interested on my flight next
world is
Friday.
mine.
Get back.
In regards to the
censored
American
that.
IPA,
Way to go.
because
Way to go, Mike.
you mentioned that you're selling it almost as if it's a growler. Can you pre-can those before someone comes in to buy them?
No, that day.
I know he said no, but I'm making sure in regards to
No, but we will take any order. You can call in as long as you come in that day and get it. Even if you don't make it that day, you can come in the next day. It's just we are not it's the growler idea.
Well, I was just
like a
curious
growler.
because if I know, like, if I want to pre-can, like, at, 10 a.m. and I'm doing, you have your
Axel
people doing
does
your
it.
bar prep, you're doing your food prep, you could do can prep in regards to filling up.
We don't have, and this is why I'm here to push the brand. We don't have the clientele yet. We don't have that demand. I would love to have someone. I would love to hire someone to come in and can off things that I needed on a day-to-day basis that would sell. However, nothing to do with legality. It's all with quality control. This is not a perfect vessel, okay? Like, this is a fucking growler. It really is. Like, we don't have an advanced canning line that's blowing it out with CO2, purging it, making sure there's head pressure on it. I'm filling this up at the tap, putting the top on and canning it. Everybody that's doing these is. So only has about a 5-day shelf life.
I thought, because I would assume it would be the same exact thing as Crowlers, and I thought Crowlers had a longer shelf life than 5 days.
They have a wider mouth, more air exposure when you put the top on. They have less time.
I'm learning new things today.
No, that's
why
what
I
I'm
keep
saying.
asking questions.
No. So, this is an imperfect vessel. And when you have a canning machine, a spike goes down. It purges it from the bottom with CO2. CO2 is heavier than oxygen, just getting into physics. So if you fill the bottom of a can with CO2, it's going to float the oxygen on top of it. Then in that same downward spike that they have at the bottom of the can, they begin to fill. So all the beer then blanketed with CO2 on top begins to push the oxygen out over the top. They cap it, seal it right away. It's a very quick process. For anybody that is doing a one-and-done Oktoberfest Crowler canner, they are using it like a pint glass, filling it up at the tap, so there's oxygen. Even if you fill it with CO2, you're still waving it around and going to the tap. You fill it up. You have to cap on foam, but there's still going to be dissolved oxygen in there. It's a fact.
Yep.
And then you have to walk it over to the canner, and you got to put it down. So it is exponentially and infinitely better than a growler. Number one, it is not made of glass. You cannot have light strike it. You cannot have light struck beer. Number two, you can take this shit on the plane. I've flown these out to California. They hold pressure. They're great. I've left them longer than a week, and it's been fine. But I don't want people to replace production cans, with thinking that single-to-go Crowlers are good, because if you leave them for 2 months, you're going to be disappointed. Just like a growler. You would not leave a growler in your fridge for a month. Right. It is an advance in technology, but it is not a leap in technology.
What about going towards plastic packaging, plastic growlers?
Fuck that.
Well, that's going to do it for us here.
Yeah, dude, no. Phthalates, you want your kids to be androgynous and choke the ocean? Hell no. We need to do better than recycling. I would love to have glass. I mean, nothing is a perfect system, but you can recycle this, and it is way easier to recycle this than, it's just, yeah.
Bad milk.
Yeah, growlers break and shit,
Cardboard, paper, water.
But that's not carbonated. Also, the only fatality from a keg was a plastic keg that exploded. So, like plastic kegs don't hold pressure, and this dude was washing one of the rubber ones, and it blew up and killed him shrapnels a couple years ago.
Darwin
Jesus.
Yeah, don't use plastic kegs, man.
All right,
Nope.
Nick, you have taught us so much today.
Thank you guys for having me. I love it.
We appreciate you coming on. This is, I think, your third time you've been on the show.
Third or fourth. I feel like this is the best one, though. I feel like we really had some magic tonight.
To be honest, I learned a lot, which is what I appreciate in the show. Is not necessarily, I loved the cruise ship talk for sure, but in regards to talking legalities, and as much as we got into politics today, we weren't for the most part taking sides.
Bipartisan.
We were very
We did all right.
bipartisan.
We did all right.
Well, it's a reality. It doesn't matter. Like, there's two sides to everything, but there are these consequences, and
Correct.
that's the consequences are bipartisan.
What we are talking about are the consequences.
Yeah.
And the consequences are hitting brewers and distillers and winemakers that are local.
consumers.
And the consumers, you're not
too,
getting
for sure.
you're not getting new product to market.
Nope.
And it's also harping on future development, which is bad.
So we have one question before you go.
Yeah.
And we asked this only to you because it came from the chat and somebody told me to ask you. Chernobyl tea, when's it coming back?
Oh, shit. You want that? Oh, man.
What is Chernobyl tea?
Chernobyl tea, this was, okay, so.
I guess it's a Russian Imperial.
Yeah, right?
Can you hand me that can in front of you, by the way, so I can, is it gone?
Yeah, there's a little.
I'll
So
take a
Chernobyl tea, check it out. That was a export stout, and I did it, and it was another happy accident where I brewed it on a Friday. I think I brewed it on a Thursday, and over the weekend, our glycol unit took a shit on the roof. So my entire glycol chilling unit broke, and it was in August. If whoever's writing this in remembers. So not to get too nerdy into fermentation, but you want a stout to ferment in the lower 70s. Okay, I was planning on it being a Russian Imperial stout, so super heavy, lower 70s. That I came back in on Monday. That shit was at 92 degrees because the yeast, the glycol broke. It was like, woohoo, the teacher's gone. Like fucking kids have the keys to the kingdom, and it just went ripped. So
I took it to meltdown, right? There was
there's so many levels to it, you know. And what that label too came from the idea that in Chernobyl, I was listening to NPR one day because I'm smarter than you, and
awesome.
I was talking about they were talking about how in Chernobyl now, because it's been untouched by humans, there are all these new species of trees that are growing because all of this crazy desolation kind of grafted together. And so I thought, out of complete tragedy becomes rebirth, you know, Chernobyl tea. So you know what, man? I would love to make that beer again, but I have to wait till the summer because it's too cold now in the brewery. Even if I fucking turn the glycol off of that tank, it wouldn't get to 90 degrees. So come in, keep pumping it, and because I would love to do that in like a mezcal barrel, like a super sweet. That shit was at like 13% too. That was a big beer, and it aged really well too because the fruity characteristics of just the heat with the stout. Man,
Did you call it the Chernobyl Missile Crisis then?
no, dude, no.
Chernobyl tea.
Hey, no, I wouldn't do that.
Mezcal, you got to influence the Latin
What the hell?
Americans.
Hey,
Stop
Cuba is open for business now. Let's not bring back old shit.
Stop confusing historical
Let's
events.
just pump the brakes over there.
Chill.
That's going to do it for us. Episode 162, Better on Draft. They can find Nick at Black Lotus Brewing Co. as well as
NickTheBrewer.com.
NickTheBrewer.com. There you go. At Nick the Brewer on
BrewPubClub.com.
Instagram. BrewPubClub.com.
Oh, yeah. Check it out, guys. Brew Pub Club. Next time I come in here, we're going to try to get all these assholes in here. But go to your local brew pub. Be cool. Just be cool.
Be cool.
All
Cool,
right.
buddy.
For myself, Matt, Nick, you can find us each and every Friday night, 7 p.m.
And me?
Rob.
And Rob, I guess.
Damn.
I thought I said your name, and I'm
No.
like, I didn't.
Slightly racist.
I guess that's going to do it for us here. Thanks to our sponsors, Door Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan. Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills. Rob, thanks for everything that you do with the news each and every week. I appreciate you.
do my best.
I even got you your own drop, so you know.
I know.
appreciate it.
I'm
I
still
know. I
Sam's
appreciate
drop.
that.
Yeah,
fuck
you,
your
you
drop.
still don't
We're
have
good.
a drop. Guys, Facebook.com/Better on Draft each and every Friday night on Facebook. You can follow, listen, and talk to us just like Nick Ulbrich did in regards to finding out when he could get the Chernobyl tea. Eric Smith, fan of the show, was in it, as well as a lot of other people, Nate Rice, Alexander Maggot, Eddie Hegish. We had a lot of people on the channel popping in, popping out. Definitely join the chat each and every Friday night. You can find us on Untapped Bod Podcast. My mother was not on today, though. You can also find us on Twitter, Better on Draft, Instagram, Better on Draft. We got
Jeff Coates, holler at us.
Disc Golf JC. Check us
DJ
out.
JC.
$100 gift card to Zatuna Liquor. We got a lot of news coming out, including the upcoming Stout 16 2019, which we'll talk more on another episode. So that's going to do it. Better on Draft Podcast. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's Better on Draft. Have a good night.
Peace.